take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One, inviting you to join us for a special NFL Week 18 Saturday doubleheader. It's 2 games that will decide the AFC North title, beginning with the Browns at the
crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
The crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com.
Everlevel.
Happer.
Whoa, a phone call? What's going on? We don't take phone calls.
What did I do? Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? You were messing with my levels.
Well, I just want. I did. Do you really want all the sound coming out of only your left ear?
Yes. Yes.
I want them on both ears
because I broadcast like this.
Yeah, you gotta tighten it up.
So I do the left ear.
All right. Yeah.
How are you?
Sorry. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Omaha Matt.
I move. Finally.
I move in today.
Chicago Matt, Lincoln Matt, they're all dead. And now it's Omaha Matt.
Big O Matt.
So you're downtown living.
I'm downtown. You know where I'm at. I won't reveal where I'm at
because okay.
I don't want
downtown is close enough.
But I am downtown. I'm in a nice little apartment complex.
Yes.
I have a roommate. I found a roommate. My very good friend Daniel and I are moving in together.
Go, Daniel.
We have no furniture.
That's all right.
We don't have one thing to our name.
It's one of those nice downtown apartments. It doesn't come with. They don't give you a couch.
Nope.
Nothing.
We get a table. We get some ovens.
They give you a table.
We get a table.
All right.
We get a table.
That's good.
But no cat. I think we're gonna have like your classic meme, like folding chair and a TV that's on the floor.
But you have some things furniture wise that you've accumulated over the years, right?
No,
nothing.
I have zero. I don't own one thing.
You stay light.
I lived in a furnished apartment for 3 years.
Okay.
So I don't have
so
one
now
thing
begins
to
your
my
journey.
name. So let me.
You have a television?
Can you grab my coat over there for a second?
Yeah.
You gonna be hitting the garage sales hard this spring?
Listen, grab my coat. Thank you very much.
If you got a duvet, you want to sell Matt.
Yeah. He needs stuff.
Where's my wall? I'm trying to find my wall.
You should go be in storage. It's not in there because yeah. You should go be in Storage Wars and buy a pod from somebody.
I love Storage Wars. I love it. Give me 50, give me 75, give me 80, give me 90.
And it's not like you don't know what's in there. So you just have to guess.
Here is the bread and butter. Okay.
All right. What's this?
This is a Target gift card.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to help you.
This is
Nebraska Furniture Mart. Anybody?
Another Target gift card. Okay. I have 2 Target gift cards.
Totaling
$250.
That might get you one
table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barely.
Barely.
They have tables at Target. You get
I'm thinking, here's what I'm thinking.
What's your TV situation?
I have a TV.
Okay, so you get that.
I have a TV and the roommate has a TV. And I think the roommate's getting a couch for Christmas. So I think the couch is out. Now, what it's about is my mattress and my bed. Now, here's what I'm thinking. Okay. This is barbaric. This is college level age BS. But
You got to start somewhere.
I don't want to spend that much money,
Of course.
on a mattress. Okay. I slept on like a mattress that was like bricks for like 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I can sleep anywhere.
So I think you're still in the stage where you want to be light on your feet,
So-
just in case I got to go somewhere
Exactly.
else,
Air mattress is what I'm thinking.
Oh no,
And then
don't do that.
and then a mattress topper. And I'm gonna buy a
You have
mattress
to wake
topper.
up at like 4:00 in
Yeah.
the morning to do. You don't want an air mattress.
It's
Why?
bad for the body.
You don't want. Yeah, you got to keep yourself right.
But what if I get one of those nice ones that like blows up themselves?
You live day to day, and that is enviable. It's
do.
It's an enviable trait. But you have to start thinking about you have to start thinking about
adult
things
life.
months and years at a time.
But-
over time, if you're waking up at 4:00 in the morning and sleeping on an air mattress, it will not treat you very well. You will
Why
be
do you say
regretting it at age 26.
What if I get a mattress topper though? Wouldn't that make it more comfortable?
It would make it more comfortable, but
yeah, I feel like that could work. I'm talking about here. I'm spending like $100 on an air mattress, and then like, how much did mattress toppers go for?
I have no idea.
I have no clue.
You buy it all together.
Let's also think of what if you go out? What if you meet a nice young co-ed?
Yeah, well, no
You're not-
co-eds are coming over for
You're
at
not
least a
taking. You're not
month.
taking her to the
No.
to the air mattress.
No co-eds.
Kids are weirdos.
Zero. Hey, I'm single. Josh is thinking on the
Yeah,
right side of
yeah.
the mart here.
Okay.
Okay, you're the one. You got the little kid. You do family friendly radio. You don't want to talk about.
But
it.
I bought, at that point in my life when we moved into our house 4 years ago, we went for it. Like it was like we're putting
Yeah.
roots down. We're getting a
you're-
nice real king size bed with the
Sure.
mattress topper with the
Sure.
back headboard,
Sure.
whatever, the whole deal.
I'm not like that. I don't got a woman.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
have
not
anyone
time
else
yet.
sleeping in my bed.
It's not time yet, but
I'm going to do what's financially responsible. And you know what?
But I would
My
advise
back
you-
can take a beating.
I would advise you to get something at least a step above the air mattress. Fill your bed with cushion, not air.
I am going to Nebraska Furniture Mart. That is something that is happening. That is
Yep.
where I will be buying
You know what
the
I-
bed frame.
You know what I did when I walked into Nebraska Furniture Mart?
What'd you
They have those, they have those setups where you can, they have like a living room setup, right?
Sure.
They have a couch, a chair, a table, and a side table, and a lamp,
Yeah.
and a couple nice
Why not?
furnishments for that. And it looks really nice. And I walked up to it and I said, "I'll take all of it."
Sure.
This room.
They
I want
basically,
it.
yeah, I want the, I
Well,
want,
really?
I want my room.
You
to-
just
I would like my room to be this.
cool. Okay.
Got the Mart card,
Yeah.
paid it off, and it's good. It's
Wow.
zero interest for
Wow.
several months.
Have you ever thought of going to like a hostel or a homeless shelter and saying, "You getting rid of anything?"
No, God, no. I'm
Okay,
okay. No
okay.
offense to our homeless listeners, but I don't really want to buy.
Of which we have many.
of which we have many. We have the most.
Cody says on the stream here, for like $300, you can get a mattress in a box from Amazon. They're nice. Ours lasted 3 years.
That's what you're looking for. That is almost exactly.
So do you
what you're
think I
looking
can get
for.
that at Target though?
You're looking for a 2 to 5 year plan
Mhm.
at this point.
So
Uh-oh.
He's gonna say something.
I just spent $500 at the Winter Classic, and it's just like I
Okay.
felt like
Okay,
it would have
okay.
been.
So you're Nick. You're like, I don't have any money, but
No,
this
I do.
shirt is really cool.
I do, but it's just like I wish at the time I would have probably had a better eye on what mattresses are going
Looked
to
like
cost.
so you were you sat
But-
in the bleachers.
I did.
Looked
I did.
great.
It was.
It looks great on TV.
Yeah.
So here's what happened.
The fight right away.
Oh my! Oh no, they were down 5-1.
Okay.
They were down.
All
They
right.
were down. But we get to my seats, my sister and I, and we're like, "Oh, this is bad. Like this is terrible. Like in the
You
out,
can't see.
couldn't see,
Yeah.
couldn't see anything. We were row 2. We realized quickly the higher up you were,
Uh-huh.
the better. Like I had an option to be higher up in the bleachers, and I go, no, I would rather be lower because I thought the rink. I thought the rink would be closer than what it was. I didn't realize the rink was in like, the infield. I thought the rink would
And
be
how much
closer
it
to
cost you for a ticket?
$250
Oh.
each. So then here's what happened. But I'm Matt McMaster, and nobody pivots better than Matt McMaster.
Hmm.
And I knew
The
buddies
pivoter.
who were in the bleachers. And I go, hey, where are your seats at? They were farther down the line. They were farther down left field, and they were higher up.
Yeah, that's a better spot.
And I go, hey,
I'm coming over.
I'm coming over, make room. They're like, all right, fine. So we just went over there and we figured it out.
Good.
And by the way, I want to make it clear, no one was sitting in the seats we were at. We just went there. We stood there. No one came. No one asked us. No one had those seats. So we very responsibly took over that area, and we had a great time.
Check out the text line. We have a lot of people that are trying to oop you. Send you some good stuff.
Okay, so
Hoiberg's got you.
This is the part where I finally admit I don't know. I
we'll
can't
get you
access the text line.
We'll get you in there.
Okay. Can you read some of the best ones?
Well, why not? Hoiberg has a picture of if you just Google. Actually, you could just Google it. Google mattress in a box. And you could get it.
That's got to be a Target, though, right? Do you think I can get a mattress in a box at Target?
I bet so.
Because I would
Target,
rather
Walmart,
use
one of those.
my $250 and just buy one of those mattresses.
You're gonna have to go over budget.
That's fine. That's okay.
You're gonna have to go outside of the gift cards a little bit.
It's gonna be okay.
Invest, but think about yourself I hesitate to think about you in a year if you sleep on an air mattress throughout the entire 2025.
You really think it'll be that bad?
I mean, you probably won't notice it, but it'll catch up. It'll catch
really.
That's my old man wisdom of the day.
You are really concerned about me.
2025. It's the year of me imparting wisdom on young Matt. That's what I'm doing. By the way, we got a tweet here from Jason.
Oh, great.
I think Matt is running a great con. Keeps saying he's going to buy an air mattress, and then his parents will be listening and will be forced to buy him a real bed.
My mother was the one who came up with the air mattress idea.
Interesting.
She was the one who said, you know what? Your grandmother or your Aunt Tia Isa has bought an air mattress and put a comforter over, and she slept on it for 2 years, and she's a dainty 82-year-old
maybe
woman.
I don't know. Maybe you're just built different.
Tia Isa grew up sleeping on rocks in the middle of communism.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't. I've been sleeping on
a little bit more pampered, than
lavish and luxury and Egyptian cotton and whatnot.
I've got no one on anyone. There are many ways to reach us. I have not a single person saying, no, the air mattress is fine.
Hey, so I went to the biggest scam maybe in American tourism.
Okay. What could
Crossroads?
This be? Great Wolf Lodge.
Great Wolf Lodge is awesome. All right. You shut your mouth. All right.
Gretna Outlet Mall.
Oh.
No,
the Big Ten Crossing.
10 Crossing soon.
Is that
future
home
of an NHL
team? Is that the one that I pass by
every day?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about stopping in there. Is that not a place to stop in?
They have some fine stores, but they have some even finer stores that could have been.
Sure.
Yep.
The Bean.
Oh yeah, I saw you. I saw you at the Bean.
I went to the Bean.
Yeah, I've been to the Bean.
The Connor Happer show has their ears to the ground. We have sources everywhere. And so if I need to check in on my boy Matt and I don't want to directly hit him up, I got people that I can.
Do you even have my number?
No.
There you go.
I don't think I do.
What friend you are.
See, this is what 2025 is for. And then I can send you texts of wisdom every day.
We can DM each other on Instagram.
Well, yeah. No,
I went to the Bean. It's the biggest scam ever. It is the stupidest thing.
How is it a scam? It's $0.
You know what they did?
It doesn't cost anything.
It's not $0. It's not $0.
You have to pay to see the Bean?
No, it is. No, listen. It is. You don't have to pay to see the Bean. Okay. But the Bean is located in a very heavily populated part of Chicago.
It is.
And where there's a lot of stores and there's a lot of places and you can go and you can shop in and around the Bean. And so the Bean,
payment is that you have to exercise self-restraint.
Yes.
And not,
the Bean is the
things.
biggest scam in America tourism history because you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
Still think it's Great Wolf Lodge.
It's a big mirror ball. Okay, there's nothing special about the Bean. What they just did is goes, hey, Millennium Park, it's kind of interesting. Let's just put this sculpture here and get people to be like, oh, I wonder what that is. And then they'll walk over here and they'll stand here and they'll be like, oh, the Chanel store is only 5 minutes away.
You know what's funny, Matt?
There's a stand right there. Let me buy a hot dog and a beer.
I hear a lot of people. I tried to defend Chicago's honor a lot because I find myself being that person because a lot of people around here say, I'm not going to Chicago.
Chicago's great.
It's a big city and they have all this crap and they use what you just said against Chicago. So I'm surprised to hear you as a Chicago defender and a person who's of Chicago say these things about the Great Bean.
I just think that, you know what? If you want to shop in Chicago, just go and shop in Chicago. There shouldn't be this tourism lure in. Oh, come look at the bean. Oh, come take a selfie. Oh, come
You
take
really
a
think that's
picture.
what? I don't think that's why it's
yes.
there.
Oh, it's there. You think it's there because it's pretty? It's an ugly looking mirror.
But why?
That's dirty and disgusting.
They clean it every once in a while.
No, they.
Yes,
don't.
they do.
It is.
One day I went there and it was closed for bean cleaning.
Thousands of people go there a day. You don't think it just gets dirty in half an hour?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Everybody touching it.
Yeah.
Their grubby hands.
Let me lick the bean.
Dude, there are little kids who go and lick the bean.
That's disgusting.
They lick the. It's just. It's terrible.
Phrasing.
Yeah.
So.
What? Why is it a bean? Why is it?
I don't ask me. I don't know. I think it's terrible.
I'm on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It's
what was
called
the original
Cloudgate.
intent of
it's
the
called
bean?
Cloudgate.
Yes.
It's a sculpture made by some dude who thinks he's smarter than what he actually is.
This
and he
tracks.
decided to make this sculpture called Cloudgate in Millennium Park because he thought it'd be cool with the reflections of the different buildings around it. That is the genesis of the stupidity and tourism trap called the bean. Okay, that has just made you there so you can sit in Millennium Park and be like, oh, okay, we thought.
But you
now,
get a great view.
Wonder what we're gonna do now.
You can see the
there's all
reflection
these-
of that view off the bean.
It's stupid. You want to do real tourism? Just walk around the loop. Go
Texture-
to Chicago Theater.
Why not? Hoiberg says the guy who made the bean is apparently a gigantic Richard head and hates that it's called the bean.
Yeah, because once again, it doesn't surprise me because I'm sure he was like, well, it's an artistic expression that goes closer than it just being looking like a black bean. You know, there's way more.
So it was either
intricacy.
a mirror bean or a black bean?
Yes.
That's stupid. Why did it have to be a bean at all?
I don't know.
On the wiki page here, it says
It's his fault
that-
for making it look like a bean.
Well, it absolutely looks like a bean, but he did not have a name for it when it debuted, and
That's his mistake.
the city adopted the bean, and he did not like that, and that's when he said, "No, it's called Cloudgate. Please call it Cloudgate." And
Nobody's calling it that.
much like changing the name of the Sears Tower,
Yes.
no one will do that.
Yeah.
Pointless.
What is that called now?
It's the Willis Tower.
Oh, Willis.
No, not in my heart.
But
and
no,
mind.
no one calls it that.
No.
I've never heard anybody in my 20 years of living there say,
Let's
you
go
know,
to
we went
Willis
over to the
Tower."
Willis Tower, or like I'm working over by the Willis Tower. You literally, everybody goes, yeah, I'm over by the Sears.
Yeah.
They don't even say Sears Tower. That's
Yeah.
all I'm over.
Okay,
It's the Sears.
I'm going to adopt that as
You know.
when I go, I try and be local. So
Yeah.
I want to
Be local.
don't say tower. Got it.
Yeah, no, just say no. We it's over by we ate at this hot dog shop. It's by Sears. That's how you go. That's how you say
Gotcha.
it.
And
Yeah.
but you trail off and
You got to
don't
put the snap there too. Shoot.
Aaron in Papillion writes in on YouTube.
Iron.
I wonder how many people this is the case for still. Calling it the Quest Center. I've moved with the times.
I have as well.
Is
It
that
was the Quest Center, then it was
before
the
CHI?
yes, but in between that it was the
CenturyLink.
CenturyLink Center,
So there are
which I called the Clink.
Yes.
Ooh, the clink.
Yeah, going down. To
You
the
are
Clink.
the bell of the bull. Here's funny thing. So like Wrigley will always be Wrigley. They will never change the name.
Yeah, they
Even if they
shouldn't.
change the name, no one will ever call it the other name, right? Now, there are people that are your age who will always call White Sox Park
Comiskey.
Comiskey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a part of that generation. It was never Comiskey when I was
Oh, okay.
alive. It was never, at no point was it ever Comiskey.
I usually say just like the
So-
garbage can or whatever.
It's so terribly built.
Yeah.
US Cellular Field
Yeah.
is what it was when I was growing up. I called it the Cell. But now we're at the point where they changed it again to Guaranteed Rate Field.
Now it's the
And now
rate.
it's just the rate,
Yeah.
where it's like, and they're so bad, no one even cares where they play.
That's true.
Like, no, I'll just call it the rate. I used to call it something when it was Guaranteed Rate Field that I don't think I can say over the air.
No, you shouldn't.
So I won't say it over the air. It was a funny name. It was a good name. But yeah, it's just the rate. So it's like there's some arenas where you change and there's some arenas where you don't.
Rosemont Horizon.
See,
Like
that's for me, that'll always be Allstate.
Okay.
because that's when I was born. Like
Okay,
it might have been the Rosemont Horizon when I was like 2 or 3. But like, at least
for my
when
kid,
I remember,
she's going to grow up in the world where it's the CHI Health Center and Charles Schwab Field.
Yes,
she'll always call it the Schwab, and the Chai.
Yes,
and I'll be like, wow, that's crazy, because I still from time to time call it TD, the ballpark.
Oh, Ameritrade, right?
Yeah, just TD, cool. Down at TD.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's always going to be. I'm lucky enough where most of the stadiums of the teams that I root for will always be the same. It'll always be the UC. It'll always be Wrigley Field. It'll always be Welsh Ryan.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they tried to rename Wrigley Field?
It's done. They tried to do a lot. Like, there was a good point from, I would say, around 2005 to 2010 where they had a shot where they could have blown it up, or they could have teared it down, or they could have really redid it. Now it's a federal landmark. You're past it. There's nothing you can do. There's too much. Once 100 years hit, it was kind of like it was over. Yeah. But there was a time from 2005
somewhere else to make money.
From 2005 to 2010, I remember a lot my dad talking about and reading a lot in the paper, and this was before the Ricketts bought it, that this could be moving. But they decided to put, makeup on an ugly pig. And now actually the pig is kind of pretty. So
you're back in on the Cubbies.
I used to think Wrigley was not all. I thought field,
it's nice now.
I thought the field was great, but everything else surrounding it wasn't. They've done kudos to Ricketts.
It's sharp.
It's sharp now.
Yeah,
it's good now.
Hey, I was sort of thinking about this over the break. Did you? I assume you did make it to midnight on New Year's Eve.
I did.
You were out and about.
I was in a basement with friends drinking.
Nailed it. Whoever said he was at like a house party.
Yeah.
I think that was Alyssa.
So,
okay. There was, by my estimation, there was only 2 people who work at 1620 The Zone who were still celebrating New Year's Eve and imbibing at midnight.
Yeah.
You were an obvious one.
Yes.
Who do you think the other one was? I know the answer. And it may surprise you.
I will go with Keeley.
No, doesn't count. Here, I don't know what Keeley did.
Oh, sure.
Here. With
on the radio.
Among us.
Yeah. Oh, on the air.
Among us 8.
Oh. John Bishop.
Correct. Yeah. Miraculously.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me at all.
John was.
I could see him being a traditionalist. I can see him being like,
hey,
this is when you stay up at midnight.
No, he was at the Creighton game on Tuesday. He was very hesitant, but he knew that he was going to have to go out.
Yeah.
And
was he nervous?
He wasn't nervous. He just didn't want to.
Sure.
Because that's John.
Yeah.
But he did.
And wow, good for him.
Yeah. And
guy still got the fastball.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's impressive.
Still rocking.
I don't like New Year's Eve. I don't believe in New Year's Eve. I don't think it's a real holiday. I think it's a made-up tale that we just need to connect different days together. And so we say, hey, January 1st is a holiday. What's the difference between January 1st and January 2nd? Not a damn thing. We just get one of them off. So, I'll take it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for the champagne, friends. And that was that. I went to the Winter Classic. Then I went to one party. Then I went to another party. And then
multiple parties.
I'm a popular man.
Yeah.
Mo and Curly's about to find out.
Is that going to be your watering hole?
No, I have no clue. I got to find friends my age who live here. I got a lot of friends here in Omaha that aren't my age. I need to find some 22 to 23-year-olds who can really show me the time, A
lot of people shouting John Bishop isms on the YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Kenneth just says John Bishop. I don't think John Bishop says John Bishop, but he does say.
You should work that in, though.
Yes, sir.
That's a good Bishop. That's a good one.
Mike says
you get a prize.
He yelled Jays win 400 times at midnight. Yes.
Jays win. Jays win.
You get a prize.
You get a prize.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, what do you got on the docket? You got a lot on the. I mean, it's
a lot to talk about.
You got hardly anything going on in the wide receiver room.
Nice.
You got college football playoff. Did you see my prediction on the board?
Hardly Gilmore. ND won't score a point if they play Georgia in the CFP. Well, you got the
playing.
second part right.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are playing.
All right.
I do not believe they'll score a point. I have no faith in Riley Leonard or Jeremiah Love or the entirety of
What
the
if I
Notre Dame
told you I
offense.
think they'll win the football game?
I think you are crazy.
It'd be hard to win the football game with 0 points.
I think they are going to get their butts whooped.
Okay.
I think that they are going to find out what real talent looks like.
Wow.
So I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to get steamrolled. So I hope you have a great show.
Thanks,
I
Matt.
appreciate your. I'll take into consideration the mattress advice. I think that more than likely I'm still going to get an air mattress, and I'm going to put a comforter.
I knew that I wouldn't convince you. I just thought I'd say my piece.
Kind of sold there. We'll see what Target has. We'll
Okay.
see what they have to offer.
All right. That's the crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. It is Thursday, ? We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Thursday. Happy New Year. From all of us here with 1620 The Zone, but specifically the Connor Happer Show. Welcome to 2025, everybody.
We made it.
Don't you have high hopes and high expectations? It's a
This
chance
is the year.
to reset. It's a chance to, finally get some stuff right. Something changes in between.
What am I getting wrong?
I don't know. Whatever you feel like you're getting wrong, it's your opportunity to start and build a foundation, build a base. Also, 2025, it's a nice year. Why is it a nice year? Because it's 25, right? That's 15, 10, 25,
Okay.
30,
Okay. Round number.
40, 50. Yeah. It's not exactly a round number, but it's like divisible by something.
Mhm.
divisible by a big number. So 25. A chance to start the new quarter century off on the right foot, I guess.
Yeah. That's the way to look at it.
Yeah. And this is the anniversary of this show existing. The what anniversary? 3-year anniversary?
We are turning 3.
We are beginning our 4th year of life.
Yes.
Our 4th year of radio shows. Today is the day. Jan 2. 3 years ago today, Josh and I had at this exact moment 3 years ago today, Josh and I had probably spoken 30 to 50 words to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were just on the air.
We took a photo with both of our backs against each other.
Yep, that was weird.
And then came into the studio and started a show.
Yep.
An arranged marriage.
An arranged marriage. Who said arranged marriages can't work?
Yeah.
I think it's working.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Professional blessing of my career.
Wow. Josh, I feel the same way. Now look at what we have. We have Grunt the Slate. We have I Have an Opinion. We didn't follow through on Wednesday Trends Day, which is all of those things are blessings.
We'll always have Sleepy Chicken.
We did that one time. Sleepy Chicken. What are some other graveyard bits that we had in the hopper? Odd News has stayed.
It has. It has withstood the test of time.
The top 5 still exists, but it just happens with less frequency now.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is good for it.
Yeah. We've lost guests along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Parker was an original original guest of this show.
That's right.
Baz was an original guest of this show. Gone by the wayside. Sad.
Gone to bigger and better things.
Yeah. For Baz, it's covering high school basketball. And for Parker, it's covering the Denver Broncos, who might have their hearts ripped out fully and completely this weekend by Carson Wentz. Could be fun.
Boy, that'd be something.
It sure would be. Sure would be. So welcome to the show. We appreciate all of you who, whether you have been with us since day one or you're just joining us today or somewhere in the in-between. Thank you. And here we go. Off into year number 4. Today on the show, original guests, Jacob Padilla and Michael Bruntz will join the show today.
A couple of OGs.
That's the lineup, powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Josh will grunt the slate in the NFL for this weekend. I'd also like to talk about the NFL and just kind of what's on the line.
That's a Josh Peterson bit. Can we do that? Are we allowed to do that?
He does a what's on the line?
No, to talk about the NFL.
Oh, no, we could talk. He doesn't have a moratorium on NFL chat.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
We could talk about the NFL. By my count, there are only 2 games in the NFL this weekend that don't either involve a playoff team or involve somebody who's still fighting for an opportunity to get into the playoffs should things go right or wrong for them this weekend. Those 2 games, Josh will give negative grunts to, and they are the Jags and the Colts and the 49ers and the Cardinals. Every other game,
no, thank you.
Every other game has something, not necessarily on the line, because there's a couple of them where, like the Bills are the 2. It's
locked in.
The Eagles are the 2, right? So we'll talk about that as we go on throughout the show today. We'll take a look at the last couple of days college football playoff games. We have a college football playoff game today for very, very, very sad reasons in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. We'll talk about all those games. 3:00 is the kickoff today.
That's right. We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I
gotta go watch the Sugar Bowl.
Uh-huh.
Remember when Paulie said, I can't watch the Rose Bowl game. I gotta watch the Rose Bowl game. And
Happy birthday, Paulie.
And then he falls in the snow. That's me today with the Sugar Bowl, because it is kind of snowing. I woke up this morning and there's snow outside. What was the deal with that? Where'd that come from?
I mean, the weather people told you it was happening.
I didn't watch that.
Okay.
Sorry. Must not have paid attention. If I don't plan on going outside, I'm definitely not checking the weather. I'm probably not checking the weather anyway. I could just assume that it'll be 26 degrees and cold. And then it's a nice surprise when the sun's out. That's basically how I handle weather around this time of year.
You will kill a man for 26 degrees.
Yeah, Rick Pitino was disappointed that he wasn't able to jump outside in the snow and go die of frostbite.
He lost again.
The same exact way he lost the game last year. I was looking back, so it was January 13th of last year when St. John's came here.
Okay.
It was the same game. It was definitely the same ending to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Just sloppy, grinded out. Speaking of the Jays, we will take a look at we'll refresh on them after their win against St. John's on Tuesday afternoon. And we'll start to look ahead at what is to come for them in the next couple months. What do you have to do if you're going to make the NCAA tournament, or if you're going to, get good seating in the NCAA tournament, or go to the NIT?
You're really thinking about this already?
I am. I think the resumes for both of our local teams will warrant a conversation about what needs to happen for them to get into the NCAA tournament. I feel good about Nebraska, but you still got to take care of business. So we'll look at Creighton's roadmap today. Yes, I am thinking about it.
I'm glad one of us is.
I'm happy to open up the browser and type in the letter K, and then KenPom comes up. I'm extremely excited about that. And we'll take a look at Nebraska and the portal. And last time, and I know we had a show on Monday, but that feels like we said at the moment, a show that just sort of gets lost in time. So we'll sort of reset everything on Nebraska in the transfer portal and from the Pinstripe Bowl and all that stuff, which they won, by the way. 7 wins for Nebraska.
Yeah. People forget, winning football program.
That's right. Congratulations. They won the Pinstripe Bowl. So we'll take a look at how we feel, because when we left you the week before Christmas, I was not super jazzed about what was going on. I feel better now. There's a little hint.
Okay.
We'll talk about that today, and we will get to that with Bruntz coming up in the noon hour. Josh, I watched some of the drunk Andy Cohen, Anderson Cooper New Year's Eve thing, and honestly, I thought it was pretty funny.
Okay.
I liked it. That's my take about New Year's Eve.
We stumbled on to Seth Meyers' day drinking bit. They had a compilation special on NBC New Year's Eve, and we watched that and laughed our heads off like a couple of idiots.
Who did he drink with? Dua Lipa?
Yes.
I've seen clips from that.
That was one. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. There are a bunch more, but they're escaping me right now.
Okay.
Good bit. Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah. I mean, they actually get hammered.
Yeah. The Will Forte one you like Will Forte?
I do. Yeah.
And
how did you know that?
I listen when you talk.
Do I look like a guy who likes Will Forte?
Yes.
All right.
But also,
question.
I listen when you talk.
Poll question. Does Connor Happer look like a guy who likes Will Forte?
Mm-hmm.
You can put that up at Happer Show. We'll have a couple poll questions for you all. And Mike writes in, by the way, on YouTube.
Hi, Mike.
We also have the Caitlin Clark story.
Got to get to it.
I heard that she went on a famous podcast.
Which one?
The most famous podcast. Not Joe Rogan.
Oh.
What's the next most famous podcast?
The Daddy podcast?
Keep going. She did not go on that. That would have been funny.
That would have been funny.
We may have talked about that.
I don't know.
She went on the Travis and Jason Kelsey podcast.
Oh, okay.
Not the Kylie
Kelsey one?
No.
Why do I get so many Facebook ads for that show?
Because Facebook thinks that everyone is a mom.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of moms on that particular app.
No doubt about that. All right. Off and running here on a Thursday. Want to hear from you all on the show today. 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Josho at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And of course, we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today. What's up, homies? New Year, same us, it says on there right now. I made a I don't know if it's a New Year's resolution, Josh, but I'm gonna make some graphics this year. I'm gonna take the time and make some graphics and make some more cool elements for the show. Maybe some audio elements for the show. Who knows? The changes that you will see.
Okay.
To this very show in 2025. And no, Kenneth, the other famous podcast was not Talk Tua.
Oh.
I think that podcast has been canceled.
Yeah, America has collectively shunned.
Cody said the same
What's her
thing.
name?
Wait, she went on Talk to No. Text from the 402. Has Ed F been thrown into a wood chipper and blasted into the sewer yet? I think that's a little harsh. Talking about our dear friend Ed Foley.
Remember when he ate at Runza that one time?
Yeah,
Oh,
you loved him. You loved him. And now you want to blast him as he's been wood chipped into a sewer? That's mean. Very mean, Texter. As far as I know, no. That has not happened. That has not happened.
Okay. But it's going to.
I think there will be moves with the staff still in the coming days, weeks, and months. I do think you have to prepare for the possibility that your least favorite coaches will be involved in Nebraska football in some way, shape, or form in 2025.
I just don't know how to quit this team.
Yeah. I think you have to reconcile. You have to, you got to look in the mirror and say, can I handle this? If Marcus Satterfield and Ed Foley are here in 2025, not in their originally intended roles, but can I handle it if they're here? So that one's up to you guys.
Okay.
All right. But as far as I know, no wood chipper action as of yet. Pedro writes in.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys. Connor, you have to talk about the 1-point win against St. John. That was a great game. Plus, you do a great job hyping up the crowd.
So, okay, since we're right there and we're going to talk about the actual game later in the show, what the hell did you do the other day at that game?
What do you mean?
I have heard from...
What do you mean?
Connor, this is not an exaggeration. I have heard from no less than 6 people that you were on one and just hyping the crowd up.
Well, I think it was an important game. As we'll talk about it in the roadmap as we go on throughout the show today.
Okay.
It's it was a big game, and I felt the urgency. Max said it a couple weeks ago. He said, look, our margin for error is thin. We're going to need our crowd. Omaha has to be a place where Creighton wins all of their games. Most, if not all of their games.
It is where number one teams and everyone else comes to die.
It can't be just where number one teams go to die.
Right.
It has, like, they have to. And so all these games are going to be close. And so if you're at the under 8-minute mark and it's a tight game with a team that's going to be really good throughout the rest of the season, St. John's, I think that win will age well for Creighton.
Yeah, you're going to be thrilled that you got that.
You got to bring it. You got to have that 6 man out there. And so anything that I could do to implore just try to convince people of how important this is and how urgent it is that Creighton wins this game, then I could be an asset as well. Hopefully.
When you have a ticket to the CHI Center to watch Creighton play basketball,
yes,
it is not a leisurely outing.
Not
you're there to work. You're there to work.
Yeah, they need you. They need you. So we'll talk about that as we go on throughout the show today. Welcome to it. Jacob Padilla will join us at the top of the hour, and we'll talk about Creighton with him. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Got a tweet here from Brian.
Hi, Brian.
On the J-Tech Constructions on Twitter feed. He tweets at Connor Happer. Did Pitino and St. John's leave the court without shaking hands?
I have had multiple people ask me this question, and I don't have the answer.
They did.
Rude.
You guys must have missed the news bulletin that he threw out there a few days ago. Would have been prepared for this.
Because of the norovirus, they're not shaking hands?
I don't know if that's why.
Okay.
And I actually don't know what was the impetus to this. I don't know why he got on this. But Rick Pitino did a tweet at Real Pitino on December 19th at 7:30 in the morning. He just had a take that he had to get out. He said this: I certainly have great respect for the coaches and teams we play, but after witnessing multiple problems with the post-game handshake line, we will take a page out of the NBA playbook and refrain. So he just declared, okay, we're not doing this anymore. No, thank you. And they did. And it was, I think for Creighton, like they didn't probably remember that at the time because they just got done. Like you win a game, it's close the entire way. You're like, oh God, exhale. And then your brain kicks in of like what normally happens after the game. You shake hands with the other team. And then you start walking over there and it's like, okay, no, I forgot. They're not shaking hands. Time to go back the other way. They did not shake hands. Do we have problems? I don't care. I think it's weird, but I don't care.
I feel like when your head coach is Rick Pitino, his reputation, like, oh, I poorly received this because of who the messenger is.
I was mostly just frustrated that he didn't wear his white suit on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna get out the pearls.
That's not special enough for you, Rick?
Yeah, come on. But that St. John's win is going to age pretty well, I think, for Creighton. That was a huge game for them and a huge game to be able to win. A couple defensive stops at the end of that game. And I always like Pitino in the post game. I like Rick Pitino, by the way. I think I've said that on this show before, but I'm on the record. I like Rick Pitino.
You have said this.
I think he's great. And I also like Dan Hurley. So maybe I'm just Big East pilled at this point. So, and he, after the game, he just goes, yeah, we didn't get the shot that we wanted. And, he's pressed as always by the New York media. Is like, come on, you have to say something bad about the refs. And he's like, no, I'm not going to. By the way, speaking of the refs, shout out to Roger Ayers, who got off the plane at Eppley Airfield at about 2:57 and then was on the floor at CHIL Center at 3:08. Nice job by him. Got there late, had the sub ref all locked in and ready to roll. And then Roger's like, no, I'm here. Time to go home, everyone. It's Roger time. He was like, I talked to him. He's like, I literally just got off the plane. I'm like, nice. I can't remember what game he was working prior, but he had trouble getting here for whatever reason. Anyway.
I mean, that sub's got to feel so bad.
I know. And he just trotted off the floor and he had to keep a straight face, If I was him, I'm like, I'm pumping up the crowd. It's like, you got to boo these guys. These guys stink.
This guy sucks.
These guys stink. If there's any bad calls, they're not on me today. The guy just goes home and watches the game on TV, and he's like, what the hell?
I would have made a great call there.
He's like, what's his name, Mr. Globo Jim on Dodgeball? White Goodman.
Yeah.
He's just sitting on his couch. Bleep you, Chuck Norris. That'd be me.
I was practicing my offensive foul move in the hotel room all night long.
So every time I think Creighton doesn't have enough grit or doesn't have enough toughness or doesn't have enough whatever to pull off games specifically like this, like that, we have to grind it out possession by possession. It's going to be extremely ugly, but we have to find a way because usually the advantage goes significantly to the team that looks like St. John's, the team that is super athletic, the team that forces pressure, the team that forces steals, the team that gets runouts. They're like, they're all over the place. And luckily enough, Creighton had a little bit of a padding of a lead going into the final, the latter stages of that game, which they saw go away on like 3 straight possessions late in the second half. But every time I feel like they don't have that in them. And it's like, season by season now for the last 4 years, probably, season by season, every year I thought, gosh, can they win these big, and you have to win like this in the Big East. Can they win these games ugly? Do they have that gene? They find it. And I'm not saying that they possess it, like they have it and they, this is just going to carry on and they're going to win every game like this from now on. But, to pull out a win like that, not only super important for NCAA tournament resume purposes, but also because of what it says about you. And, Stephen Ashworth, I'd like to go a game for him where he's not rolling around on the floor and I think the season's over. I'd like for that to happen, but we'll see if that happens any other time soon. But I think to find games like that and continue to do it, I think it probably shows you how. Greg McDermott teams just get better as the year goes along. They come together. They figure out. They use this part of the season. They figure out what pieces they have, what they're going to be. They settle in a little bit, and they make the most out of the pieces that they do have. And so that is a heck of a win, and it's a statement win by Creighton, that's for sure. Second thing from the game, nothing gets the people going like John Fanta.
Oh, our soon-to-be Papa Fanta.
I love Nick Baugh, and usually Nick Baugh would have a line of people waiting for him, shouting out random chicken Nick drops at him, but not on Tuesday. There was
my CPAP machine.
There was a line of people just to they waited. I mean, they stayed on air for a while after the game on Peak. They did some more stuff and did an interview or whatever.
He loves content. And
there was a line. There was like a group of kids, young, probably McMaster's age, maybe a little younger even. They just sat there and they just waited until Johnny Fanta took off that headset. It's like, we got to get a picture. We got to talk. We got to chirp about the Browns, And he's like, I know the Browns suck.
What do you think about Jameis, though?
He's going to take a picture with everyone he could possibly see, shake everybody's hands. That guy's the king of Big East basketball. A friend
One
of the
fan
show.
at a time. He is building
Absolutely.
to himself to become the preeminent voice in the sport.
Yep. So with that being said, Josh, let's take a look at my beautiful graphic. Please just be nice.
No,
okay.
I'm not.
All right.
You took the time to make something.
So it's the roadmap.
Yeah.
The roadmap to March is what I'm calling it. At the bottom, if you're watching along with this on YouTube, you see the St. John's, the Villanova wins. Those are in your pocket already. Nobody can take those away from you. Mm-hmm. You also see the road loss at Georgetown.
What the hell happened there?
Also, nobody can take that away from you, sadly. I wish they would, but they can't at this point.
Respect to Ed Cooley, but man, we were watching that in the booth at the football game, and I'm like, what, Jake, what is happening?
So they're 9-5 right now, 2-1 in the league. I think around this time of year, and this number will sort of fluctuate, a win or two in the other direction, in either direction as we go on throughout the remainder of the season. But the way I see it around this time of year, a good target is 20.
Yes.
A good target is 20 wins. In order for the Blue Jays to find their way to 20 wins, they need to win 11 more games. They have 17 more games left to play. They're each in the Big East. So that means you need to find a way to get to 13 Big East wins in total. You already have 2 in your back pocket. 11 more Big East wins.
11 more. Okay.
11 more. 11 out of 17.
Let's call it the magic number. The magic number is 11.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good place to start. Once again, it'll fluctuate maybe a little bit. So then if you look at the graphic, here is a good sort of roadmap to getting there. See these over on the right in the need them all section?
Yes.
2 games against DePaul, 2 games against Seton Hall, and 2 home games, one against Georgetown and the other one against Providence. You're going to want to win all those games.
Okay.
Because a loss will hurt you dramatically if you lose any of those games. Losing at home in general is a tough one to swallow. That's why Creighton needs their crowd and all of that stuff. But those 6 in particular are against teams that are toward the bottom of the Big East in terms of the metrics. And Providence and Georgetown, if you lose to them at home, it hurts a lot more than losing to them on the road.
Seton Hall, terrible.
Bad.
Wow.
Seton Hall, people are saying that Seton Hall is the new DePaul.
Wow.
It might be true. I'm not sure. All right. So you have 2 in your back pocket, and let's just say you get all of those 6.
Hell yeah.
You don't have to go perfect, but you should. All right. Then you're up to 8. Then you have all of these other logos remaining. Home games against Xavier, Butler, and a road game against Providence. Teams that are kind of right in your kitchen, and they're probably 50-50 games, and you're going to want to win more than you lose in that category. And then there's the road steals category. If you win at Butler, if you win at Villanova, if you win at Xavier, those will help you from a metrics perspective. And that leaves still 5 more games.
Villanova 8-1 at home this year.
Yeah. That leaves still 5 more games. 2 against Marquette. One, of course, coming up on tomorrow.
Oh, geez. Right here on 1620 The Zone.
Tomorrow's Friday. 2 against Marquette, 2 against UConn, and then the roadie at St. John's.
Those 3 teams undefeated at home.
Right. If you win any of those games, then that is going to move the meters. That's why it's in the category of meter movers.
Makes sense.
Right? So whichever games you lose in the need them all category, you're probably going to have to make up in the meter movers category. That's why it is not advisable to lose any of the need them all category. And remember, Creighton still has a win against Kansas in their back pocket, and then they have this nice win against St. John's in their back pocket. Nothing they've done from a loss perspective to this point, with the exception of the game against Georgetown on the road, hurts them too much. Losing to Nebraska at home hurts a little bit, but that's a good team from the metrics perspective. Losing neutral site games against San Diego State and Texas A&M, don't really move the needle much. And losing at Alabama doesn't hurt you at all. Right?
Right.
So there's your sort of roadmap. And we're going to use this graphic. We're going to continue to update it as the season goes on. More will go into the wins and losses category. And then maybe tomorrow or sometime next week, we'll look at Nebraska's roadmap, because they are an NCAA tournament caliber team as well.
You did the micro. Allow me to do the macro very quick.
Okay.
Bracketology.
And then you have, by the way, Aaron says you also have Big East tournament wins as well that you could just add on to there at the end.
Last 4 in includes Nebraska. Next 4 out includes Creighton.
There you go.
So both
bubble territory.
Both teams firmly in the bubble.
We're going to talk a lot about KenPom in the next 2 months. Josh, don't you love it?
Your little KenPom thingy.
I know you hate it when I talk basketball because you hate fun. But
no, I
love talking about this stuff.
I like fun. You talk about it very well. So
thank you. Thank you. At least I have that.
I'm slow. It's like a big wooden ship. I'm slow, not diversity.
We'll get you there.
I'm slowly getting to basketball.
We'll get you there. Black Cat writes in.
Hi, Black Cat.
I wasn't familiar with your graphic work. Thank you.
It was fine.
It was fine. I appreciate
across.
that. Josh, you do a great job with all the graphics, but I took this one into my own hands. There's a lot of blank space on there. Graphic designers would be saying. I say, I'll figure that out. We'll get better as we go.
It was an info graph, and it got the info.
The biggest jump goes from your first graphic to your second graphic. All right, speaking of Creighton, we'll talk about the Jays with our dear friend Jacob Padilla coming back on 1620 The Zone.
for our basketball Jones. Hail Varsities, Jacob Padilla on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. Baby.
All right, we are joined right now on the 42 Degrees Source hotline by our dear friend Jacob Padilla, Purdue Sports. Hi, Jacob. Happy New Year. How are you?
Hi, Connor. Good to talk to you on air again, at least.
I know. We're back. Has it been 2 weeks? Yeah, I guess we missed
a couple weeks off.
Wow. But we have seen each other in the meantime. It's more in passing these days, sadly. I don't get to sit up there and grind tape with you during the games anymore.
Yeah, no, you're too important. You got too much to do.
I get too much yelling to do. I have so much yelling these days.
You're really good at it.
I'm good at yelling? That's good.
You are, yeah.
Maybe that should become more of a yelly show, as we've always stayed away from. All right, so that went. I've been trying to impress on people over the last several minutes here how important, and I think we sort of take it for granted sometimes. You know, maybe you look at a team like St. John's and you're like, well, they're not ranked or whatever. That win is going to age very well, I think, for Creighton. Like, how important was that win for them as you look ahead at the Big East grind?
Yeah, I mean, they're not top 25 in the AP poll, but they are top 20 in KenPom. They are top. Well, I guess I haven't looked at what the net is today. They were top 30 in the net going into that game, so it's still a Q2 win at home, but you need to kind of stack those up as well in addition to the Q1s. So that, and Creighton's got to take care of business at home. They at this point, with how the non-conference went, with all the injuries and kind of failing to steal a couple of the ones against the tougher teams, they have to rack up wins in the Big East. You got to get to that 20-win mark going into the conference tournament to feel good about having a chance to make the tournament. And that means you got to win 13 in the league. And so, yeah, St. John's is a very good team. It's going to be tough to beat them at their place. So holding on here at home, absolutely massive for Creighton, being able to kind of hit that win total that you need to get to.
And obviously, Ryan Kalkbrenner will be, the biggest part of whatever they're able to do. It feels like they've gotten him some better and cleaner opportunities over the last two. I know these games are 10 days apart, so it feels like it's sort of a long time, and it doesn't feel like back-to-back games at all. But you just look at the volume, first of all, of what they've been able to do with Kalkbrenner over the last 3 out of the last 4. I guess what has changed in how they've been able to get him looks, at least?
I haven't necessarily studied the tape to see exactly how teams are defending him on every possession. We're still seeing a lot of doubling, a lot of help side, a lot of tagging. But Creighton has some other guys stepping up.
Yep.
And the reason they lost that Nebraska game is because they could not make teams pay, or could not make Nebraska pay for defending him that way. And so they kept doing it, and they were never able to kind of get him engaged. And that hasn't been the case. You've got some other guys stepping up, making a few plays here and there. And also some of these teams haven't tried the same method. I think the threat of Creighton's three-point shooting, even if they aren't the elite team that we've seen them be at times, still scares some of these teams. And also, I think maybe some of these guys haven't been as locked in on every possession as Nebraska happened to be in that game.
Yeah, agreed.
So you've gotten some mistakes, and I mean, heck, Greg McDermott even talked about the reason Mason Miller got as many minutes as he did, particularly in the second half there, was because they were defending him like a shooter, and that was giving Kalkbrenner and the other guys space to work inside the arc. So I think it's just different choices, different execution levels, and Creighton's starting to figure some things out. We saw them get the lobs. One of them was the first one, kind of out of timeout. Just happened to be a defensive breakdown where the ball screen was Mason Miller, and Steven refused it, and defender got stuck on the screen, and it just put Steven with a 2-on-1 with Kalkbrenner for the lob. And the second one was Dermot talked about the Mitch Ballack drawing the play up. It's just kind of a flex action with, instead of setting a pin down as a secondary action, it was a back screen for a lob. And Mac talked about it's kind of just the way St. John's tends to switch things that opens up opportunities for slips and things like that. So I think it's just Creighton kind of settling in, and we're also going to see teams based on their personnel and what they do well defend a little differently. Even obviously we saw how effective that strategy was against Creighton for that stretch there, but it's also not super easy to execute to the level that we saw at times.
We've talked about sort of the ups and downs with Jemiah Neal and the non-con, and he is one of the guys that is affected greatly by how many touches they're able to get Ryan Kalkbrenner in space and all that stuff. That's what Creighton needs to have. But I feel even though he only had 6 the other day, I thought he was a big piece to what they were doing and enforcing the issue a little bit, and obviously being a big rebounder and then dishing out assists as well. He had 7 assists on Tuesday. It just feels like whenever Creighton is clicking and it feels like it's moving and the pace is good and the tempo is good. Jemiah Neal is on his game. I like that. That's the way it's felt so far. How do they get that consistently?
Yeah, that's the question, right? And that's what Max kind of talked about throughout with him, is it's just a matter of consistency. He's kind of been more of a kind of roller coaster type player where the highs are really nice, but there's some lows that go with that as well. I mean, you look at his win-loss splits; it's kind of ridiculous, and he's shooting 52% in wins and 33% in losses.
Wow.
33% from free in wins, 19% in losses.
Wow.
He's taking free throws in wins. He's not really getting there in the losses, and just kind of the on down the line where he's taking better care of the ball and setting guys up more. It really just it does come down to, outside of the Kansas game where he's in foul trouble, and obviously you had Pop go off for 27 to kind of make up for whatever you didn't get from him. Creighton wins and losses are largely against kind of decent teams have come down to whether Jemiah Neal is playing well or not. It's tricky, and they need him to continue to kind of get to that level where it isn't so up and down.
Mm-hmm.
They need him to be consistent, again, as we go into conference play where they need to rack up wins. And with the limited options they have from a ball handling perspective, and Mac talked about that, where it felt like kind of moving forward to lighten some of the load on Stephen Ashworth, that teams are going to defend him like St. John's did, just with the length and physicality and everything they were sending at him to force the 10 turnovers. Jemiah's the one option right now. Obviously, I think that Fedor will help as he continues to kind of assimilate and get up to speed. But right now, Jemiah is kind of the one guy that you can put the ball in his hands and have him make something happen. That being said, like it's like that was a very odd game, like up and down offensively. Like he did a lot of good things, but then also he did there's a lot of plays like he would wish for him to do something different than he did.
Yeah.
Like the panic late clock, giant step back jumpers. Like need to try to do something different there. I think he made two threes like that, a mid range maybe like that as well. And I don't think he made any of them. Again, or not mid range. Because he only had the one layup, but he had like three step backs. Didn't make any of them. The 1-3 hit was a pretty good one. But when you put the ball in his hands, that it can't be that kind of shot is what you get out of it. You need the assist. You need him getting to the rim like he did on that one time.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of him recognizing when the opportunities are there to create and when he needs to just move the ball and get it moving, maybe get it back and attack from different. Like I think because I think processing. He maybe isn't the quickest processor. So you'll see him a lot of times catch the ball and kind of hold and survey.
Yeah.
And then when he puts it on the deck, he doesn't often get past his man. For as athletic as he is, like I said, it's a lot of mid range, a lot of step back, a lot of that type of stuff when he feels like he has to create. So that he's got to find a better way for him to kind of be more aggressive with the downhill drives off the catch and try to get in some of the driving lanes that he can recognize and exploit, because just putting the ball in his hands and asking him to create, I don't think that's what you want. A lot of his assists are kind of within the flow of getting the ball on the move and downhill and creating plays, or him making the extra pass on the perimeter, as opposed to him just kind of running the show and making plays happen himself. So that's something Creighton's going to have to continue to work on and figure out a solution for moving forward. Is just Jemiah, Steven, their roles, how to kind of put them in the best position to succeed, because the team really does rely on those guys a lot at this point, with just the lack of ball handling and playmaking on the roster after Pop's injury.
Yeah, Ashworth, I would have, I didn't even look until just now. I would have assumed that his efficiency, especially from the 3-point line, has gone down, just because it feels like he has to take more. He has more volume. It hasn't. He's shooting 40% from three right now, and they need every single one of them. So I don't know. Like if you could, it just feels like a game by game. You're kind of piecing it together and trying to find out the right math equation, instead of like they need to be. I mean, there is always going to be a piece of that every game, but if you could get X amount from the end of the bench guys, and then whatever you get from Steven and Kalkbrenner and then Jemiah, like it feels like there's tiers to it. I'm just wondering when they can go more than like 3 days without thinking that Stephen Ashworth is undergoing season-ending injury of some sort.
Yeah, that was not a good moment there. I guess
no,
because it looked like he like twisted his knee and went down grabbing. You're like, oh, there's a season.
Seriously,
and it's like the third time we see, or whatever it is.
It is. It's the third time. Yeah.
Yeah. That guy is taking a beating. That's like,
I don't know how he's doing it, Jacob. Like, I don't know how he's still shooting 40% from three.
Yeah, by the end of the season, he's going to be kind of limping around like Rogge was at the end of his career, just with the punishment he's taking. And credit to him, though. Like, he missed like less than 2 minutes and was back out there, running back out to the huddle. And so obviously, you appreciate, or you prefer him not to be taking these hits, but he also is going, again, just the amount of responsibility on him, the amount of ball handling he has to do. It's a credit to him as a player and figuring out how to be as efficient as he is this season. And it's also a kind of points to the second year transfer deal. And
yes,
I mean, just second year in general, obviously, like freshman and sophomore leap and things like that. Like, guys that stay in the program get better at Creighton
all the time. I mean, Baylor had the same jump last year.
Yeah, not necessarily 100% hit rate, but their player development track record is pretty good. And guys that once they get comfortable in the system and learn what they need to do, where their shots are going to come from, once they kind of put in the reps, practicing for all that, like the system works pretty well for guys that have the proper skill set in it. So Stevens, you can go check out the Hail Varsity or the herdhatsports.com, the Blue Jay breakdown page. I did a story on Stephen Ashworth and his pick and roll this season. He's been one of the best pick and roll playmakers in the country. And I think at that point, it was top 5 in efficiency among all high major players. And a lot of it is the kind of the pull up three out of the pick and roll is back. He is one of the best in the country. Shot 44% at that at Utah State his last year. Last year he was at like 29%. It just wasn't able to hit those shots. And this year he's back over 40.
Yeah.
So he's comfortable again. He's playing like Stephen Ashworth. He just happens to have to do a lot more with the ball in his hands than he ever has in his career. And obviously it's there've been kind of some rough stretches of 10 turnovers, 2 of 8 inside the arc against St. John's. Like that definitely wasn't his best performance, but it was a tough performance. He battled through and did enough to get Creighton the win.
And we haven't talked since they got Fedor Zugic eligible, and it hasn't like they haven't. He's played a few minutes in each of the 2 games, but somewhere along the way, people got very maybe overly excited about what Fedor was going to bring to the table, like immediately.
Yeah.
It's clearly going to be a little bit of a work in progress here. I guess, what do you think that develops into over the coming weeks?
Yeah, we already saw quite a leap from the game 1 to game 2. And Mac talks about it. Like he thought he looked like a deer in the headlights when he got out there in that first game. And I would agree with that assessment. You could tell that he was completely lost. He was just kind of out there. He didn't know where to go, what to do. And in the second game, almost immediately
that take to the rim,
first touches. Yeah. He ripped the ball, got downhill, and made a great play. Ended up leaving the layup just a bit short, but it opened up the putback for Kalkbrenner. Then he had later he had the drive and dump off to Fred King to get him to the foul line. That was a really good pass there. And then he had the extra pass to Isaac that set up the pump fake flyby and reset for the 3 and Creighton's first 3 of the game. So he only was out there for 7 points, but he kind of had a hand in putting 7 or 6 points on the board with Fred splitting the free throws there. So that's, obviously it's still going to be a work in progress. Like, again, he's both conditioning because as someone who isn't preparing to play and is working on scout team, like their workout regimen is completely different than the main guys who are playing throughout the season. So that has to kind of flip mid-season, and I can see him. He was on the bike after practice a couple practices ago, just putting in some extra work. Obviously, he's been going through all that. I've been missed a little bit of time. So the stamina is one thing. Like being out there for a couple minutes more than a couple minutes at a time with kind of what that takes. Like the level of mental and physical exertion it takes to go out there and execute, specifically for a guy that's still trying to figure it out. Like I don't think that he's ready for staying out there for 10 straight minutes or anything like that at this point. And then also from a mental standpoint, just understanding where to be on the floor, the spacing aspect of things on offense, making sure that when they call a play that he's playing his part and not kind of blowing up the play for everybody else. And then defensively, understanding where to be on the floor, understanding the scouting report, whether he's guarding a shooter or non-shooter, like how to handle those situations, when to help, when to rotate, all those sorts of things. Like basketball is a lot more complicated sport at this level than I think a lot of fans recognize. So there are a lot of things that he still has to figure out. That being said, I think we're going to continue to see his playing time rise from game to game as he does figure that stuff out. And the good news is after they get through this Marquette game, they got another week off, and there won't be a holiday break to deal with as well. So they're going to have 7 days there for both mental and physical reps to continue kind of stacking up that base knowledge and comfortability for him. And I think we'll see him kind of over the second half of the Big East season. I mean, you can see, like that first play he made, just attacking the closeout, getting through traffic. That's
totally
what they
different.
don't have right now.
Yep.
They don't have a guy that both forces you to close out on him because he can shoot, and then once you do, that can put the ball on the deck and go make something happen afterward. Like Jemiah can attack closeouts, but teams don't close out hard on him. Like they're okay with him shooting threes. Mason, Isaac, guys like Jackson, like they're not at a point where they're damaged or they're impactful putting the ball on the deck after closeouts. Like they're more just spot up guys. So Fedor is the one guy that can kind of do both out on the wing with a little bit of size. So that adds kind of an important wrinkle to the offense. So I think he'll be big over the second half of the season. It's just fans have to be patient.
Yep.
It's not going to be all right away. And I know even some of the more rational and smarter Creighton fans that I know and follow, we're getting impatient in that last game and wanting to see him out there more and more and just kind of throw him into the water. That's just not how Mac's going to do it.
Yep.
But they are working hard to get him acclimated because I think he is going to be able to help.
All right, Jacob. Appreciate it as always. Great stuff. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
Jacob Padilla of Hurrdat Sports. You can check out all of his work there on Twitter at Jacob Padilla _. I wonder where Jacob Padilla not _ is.
Yeah.
You gotta find that guy and sue him. I'd like my name, please.
Let's see. Is he using it?
That would be sad. That would be disappointing. I'm sure just knowing Jacob, it definitely gnaws at him that he has to put the _ there. It doesn't. He doesn't care at all.
No.
So did we find him?
Not specifically.
That's a very confusing answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Many other Jacob Padillas.
Okay.
Nobody
at Jacob. Just type in at Jacob Padilla. Yeah.
It was apparently someone named Juan Padilla. I'm gonna guess
like
that person might
Jacob.
pronounce it Padilla.
Yeah.
No posts, no replies.
Ouch.
No likes.
Ouch. Tough.
Joined in July of 2010.
At least he's been sitting on it for 15 years.
2 followers.
2010 was 15 years ago.
That's right.
What the hell?
I mean,
I just had this realization now.
Yeah.
This sucks. 2025 is canceled.
Wow.
I hate
quick.
it. I hate 2025. 2010? That's always today to me. It's now 15 years ago?
That's right.
Oh my God. Yikes.
Time's a scary thing, Colin.
Not fun. That good. All right, come back. All right, radio tease. I'm going to try and do radio teases better this year.
Okay. Good resolution.
Thank you. Be better at your job. Yeah. Why the Oregon-Ohio State game proves that it's pretty much pointless to do the whole strength of schedule transitive property thing. Your narratives are garbage. Throw them away, says the Ohio State-Oregon game. We'll tell you why next on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Hudson with you here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Zone deals are back, folks.
Oh, Happy New Year indeed.
2025 is uncanceled because zone deals are back. And this week's zone deal is to Ramona's Mexican restaurant located in Florence. And they're known for their famous deep fried burritos, cheeseburgers, Indian tacos. All that sounds awesome. And their popular homemade hot and mild sauce. This week's zone deal, $50 in gift vouchers for just $25 on sale tomorrow at 9 at 1620thezone.com. Josh.
Connor.
I was surprised to get done watching the end of the fantastic football game between Arizona State and Texas, and then to immediately be taken to the Rose Bowl where the sun had not yet set behind the San Gabriel Mountains. And Ohio State was already winning, and they were about to punch another one in within the matter of seconds of tuning into that. They were about to be up 14-0 in the matter of mere moments.
That got out of hand quick.
It sure did. So this is a game, to me, with Ohio State smashing Oregon, of course, in the college football playoff quarterfinal yesterday. 41-21 was the final, but I don't know. It kind of felt like 62-3 to me.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range. No, I mean, Oregon, there was a moment where I was like,
If?
Because it was what, 34-15? I think they got it to 34-15, and they had the ball, and it was like, oh, whoa, if they go down, I mean, we're cooking a little bit here. No. And Ohio State got it, went down and scored. 41-21 was your final. So this is a game that I think is a really, really good example to show people and say all the narratives that people have been talking about the last 2 weeks. Strength of schedule, transitive property, how the playoff games, were a reflection of the regular season or vice versa. And here's a really good lesson to take from it. Because remember, Josh, Oregon beat Ohio State in the regular season. It was a long time ago.
That's right.
But it's a good lesson to remember. Teams change. They get better and worse throughout the season. And I'm not even saying that happened with Ohio State or Oregon. I'm not saying that Oregon got worse or that they were a fraud or whatever. And then people are doing this with the seeding too. They're like, oh, well, geez, what does Oregon get for being the number one undefeated team all year long? All they get is to play Ohio State. You can't control that.
Yeah, and you have to play tough games to win a national championship.
Yes, exactly.
There's no clear and easy path to it. Now, are all teams in the 12-team playoff historically with a bye are 0-3 all time?
Bad precedent to start with,
yes,
that's for sure.
Yes,
but sports don't really work. What we try to do in these situations often when we're trying to make bold proclamations or have takes about the sport is we try to boil these teams down to a data point. This is what they are. We try to label them. Millennials would hate it.
Oh.
We try to label these teams. This is what they are. So it's this. And then a whole collection of teams, this is what they are. That's when you start your narratives on the sport and the conferences and all that stuff. Sports don't work like that. Clearly, in Ohio State's case, emotions play into things.
Oh, you're going to say, what about us? Okay, we're going to bomb it deep because you don't expect us to, and we're really mad.
I don't know what happened in that Michigan game, but I know what I saw. They went into a shell. They were scared little babies crying in the what is going? We can't lose to Michigan. And then they just went into a shell. They got bombarded against Michigan. And they came out and they responded the last two games. They have throttled two good teams. Oregon's really good.
Yeah.
Oregon is really, really good. And so how good are you, or this is what you are, is a constantly changing and evolving data point. It's not even a data point. It's cascading all the time. And teams meet at different times. One team's on the upswing, one team's on the downswing, one team, from an emotional perspective and from a confidence level and all of those things. So when it comes to selecting the teams to the playoff and then seeding them, my thing is this, because I know there's going to be a lot of conversation after this playoff ends about how we're doing the seeding.
We got to fix all of this. We got to fix all of it.
First of all, once again, where's my overreaction side? Jeez. 1 year? In fact, you know what? One game. And we're like, we got to change the seating. One game happened. Indiana and Notre Dame happened, so we got to change this. You know how ridiculous you sound, right?
Yeah.
You guys know how ridiculous. I don't think they do. I don't think people know how ridiculous they sound.
You're going to have a Final Four that is Texas versus Ohio State.
Yeah.
And Penn State versus either Georgia or Notre Dame.
That's awesome.
Buku brands, buku ratings.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't have gone better for ESPN.
So when we talk about the seeding and who gets into the playoff and all these things, I say this. We have parameters. We have some parameters now. Some of it is still subjective, but we have parameters, right? You get into the playoff, and generally, if you're asking a team before the season, hey, would you like to win your conference and have a bye in the first round of the college football playoff? They say, yes. I'd like to...
fewer games to a national championship.
What do I have to do to win a national championship? Is it play 17 games? Or is it, 14 or 15 or 16? Like, they're going to take the lesser number every time. We have the parameters. We set the parameters. You meet the parameters. You get in the dance. And for the case of the subjective teams, the at-large teams like the Indiana and Tennessee and the whole hubbub about Alabama, losers, by the way. Like we don't, there is a certain parameter when it comes to that as well. Win your games.
Novel.
That's a parameter.
Novel concept.
Win your games. And so what happens in the dance should definitely, I don't know how that's not a perfect illustration of how what happens in the playoffs should not necessarily be used as a referendum on how the regular season went. You saw it play out with your own eyes. Use your brain. And the regular season will not necessarily give us a roadmap to the postseason. This is the way it is in every postseason that's ever existed throughout the history of time. We can think we know who the best team is, but we don't know who the champion is until the game is played.
I thought that the parallels between the basketball tournament and the football tournament would be few and far between. But I'm finding more and more sometimes, you get a crazy upside down NCAA tournament, and sometimes it's chalk. Sometimes you get a team that's not supposed to get their brains beat in, and they get their brains beat in. Like, it's kind of random.
It there is different talent levels, and we're losing it.
Oh no,
we're losing a TV. It's 2025. We're losing a television.
It's all digital now.
How are they going to watch the Sugar Bowl? I guess we have the.
How are we going to watch Royals games?
That is actually great. We'll have to have.
We need that back March 27th.
He did not. He was not.
We've crossed the equinox, by the way.
Oh, of the baseball off season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really don't have. I don't know. I'm open to whatever here, but I don't have a problem with the way that the teams were seated. But maybe that's because I welcome a little bit of I don't know, randomness. It's not going to work out like this every year.
Yeah.
In terms of how teams are matched up.
Sometimes you will have the ACC champion get a bye.
Yeah, sometimes the 5 seed is going to be a great place to be.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a year where the 12 will win that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I just hope that we at least give it an opportunity to either fail or succeed and give it a few runs through before we start upending the entire thing again. But we love to just change things and mess with things based on.
They're absolutely going to change the buys.
Immediate. They are. I know. Everybody this is something that everybody has universally agreed on, except for me.
No, I'm actually with you. I think it's an interesting, unique to the sport wrinkle that the conference champion gets, the 4 major conference champions get a bye. And if you're the 5th conference champion, well, sorry. I think it's an interesting, unique wrinkle.
There was the option, of course, to keep it to lesser teams as well. And then we wouldn't have so much, like we have a mix of objectivity and subjectivity as it pertains to the playoff at this point. And I know like I know where the brands are in the college football landscape. And I know that those teams that finish second in the Big Ten and second in the SEC are oftentimes better than the team that places first in the Big 12. I know like that. I was really praying that Arizona State was going to win yesterday. And I thought they would, honestly. I picked them to win. That was my first incorrect prediction of the playoff.
Somebody said Cam Skattebo and them boys would give them a game.
Yeah, I said they'd win though. Yeah. I gotta fess up to it.
We told you to watch.
Platcat writes in.
Hi, Platcat.
Ohio State was the 4th seed in the first ever playoff and had no problem running through Alabama and Oregon. 10 years later, nothing has changed. Beat who's on the other side of the ball. Like I sort of hate to boil it down to that, but totally. You have to beat the other team across the field. Yeah. Like I feel like I'm trying to explain this to you all. And you don't need to explain to you. You watch the game and you're into the conversations just like we are. Like I don't need to explain it to people, but I feel like I've had to do that of like, yeah, you guys remember there's games, right?
It's not a sim season like on your video game.
I think the talent that teams have is a good like it's a good it's a helpful predictor from times, or maybe we need to stop calling it predictors, or maybe it's I don't know what the right word would be, but it's something that can go into your thought process as you look at the game. But coaching matters, quarterback play matters, and all this stuff. And like I think a lot of times we look at the brands and we say, well, they have more talent, they should be in. Yeah. Well,
who had Will Howard out dueling anyone ever?
Yeah, but they're going to change it. I know. And then we'll probably change it again next year because we hate when things are the same for 10 seconds in a row now.
We want to perfect a thing that is imperfect.
Yep. All right. Here's Russ on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Hey, Russ, what's up?
Morning, guys. Actually, it's not morning. I'm calling from Virginia, but at any rate, you talk about Arizona and Texas. When you knock somebody out with the crown of your helmet, and then it comes back as a no targeting call, how does Texas continue to get those kinds of calls? Could it be that Texas maybe would bring more people to ratings and to get in the Final Four?
Well, Texas didn't get those calls, right? Like there was 2 potential targetings late in games, and late in that game, and they would have both been against Arizona State.
No, Arizona State would have benefited from the Texas targeting call.
They would have gotten the ball in the 10. They'd have scored.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yes.
They knocked the Arizona State plate, and they knocked him out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was laying on the ground.
Targeting. I don't know what it was. Somebody shot him. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful Texas call. Remember 1 second. How do they continue to get those calls?
Yeah, I don't know. They somehow got out of that thing. It sure wasn't but at the same time, like they were in control generally of the game, and they were up 24-8. Like you could make the argument that they were the much better team in that game, and then it played out.
They were a much better team until they couldn't stop Arizona State from scoring 16 in a row.
Yep, no doubt about it. Yeah, I don't know.
Money talks. Maybe Texas brings more people to TVs. I don't know. It's just the That was a terrible, terrible call. Enjoy the day, guys.
Thank you, Russ. Appreciate it. I'm not going to go conspiracy theory on that one. I mean, like I said, the one the Arizona State linebacker, on the key third down stop still in regulation, and then on the pick, the guy comes out of nowhere and he smashes the Texas guy, on the deep shot down the field, and that was the pick that Arizona State got, and then they went down the field, scored, tied the game to send it to overtime. That's a defenseless guy. There's stuff out there everywhere, I guess. I'm not going to go conspiracy theory on that one.
Chris with an interesting email here. As much as I cannot stand Signetti, can we take a minute to point out that the Indiana game has been the second most competitive game in the playoffs so far, only behind the double overtime game of Texas versus ASU. For everyone who is so adamant about Indiana not deserving to be in the playoff, they have been the second most competitive loss.
Yeah, not really. I mean, they got their butts kicked. They got smoked.
Maybe this should have been 8 teams.
Yeah, there is that piece of it too. So we still have Penn State to talk about, and then we'll talk more about Texas as well. But plenty more to come on the playoff as we go on throughout the show today. But next, Josh has the odd news on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, big pressure.
Big pressure?
Well, it's the first odd news of 2025.
Oh, okay.
And of course, we have to impress our listeners.
Pressure makes diamonds, Connor.
Josh is always ready to step into the moment.
That's right.
All right. You get your Derrick Henry jersey on today that you bought from China?
No. This is from actual, and it was on sale because it got traded.
Oh, that's right.
Deep discounts.
Gotcha.
Also, I love it because it triggers people.
Why?
The Titans shouldn't have access to the Houston Oilers stuff.
Do people get mad about that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not in Titans message boards.
Because they are not of Houston anymore. People forget. And there's a team in Houston.
Yeah, they suck.
Sucks to suck.
They're going to make the playoffs, but they suck.
That's right. We go to Yahoo Sports, who hilariously on New Year's Eve opted to send out all of the graphics that they were unable to use.
Oh, I did see this, actually.
Like the Yankees World Series graphic or people breaking records that they didn't end up breaking.
Even the Dodgers sweeping graphic.
Yes.
I saw that one. They still weren't able to pump that out either.
All the graphics we made but didn't use featured a piano-driven track of Amazing Grace, and it had all the vibes of an in memoriam video, but it cycled through graphics Yahoo Sports produced but did not run this year. The San Francisco 49ers championship graphic, if you had forgotten,
they were in the Super Bowl.
They were in the Super Bowl and forgot the rules of overtime in overtime of the Super Bowl as Tony Romo talked over the final play.
Remember when Patrick Mahomes so what was it? It was the coin toss, and they said they wanted what happened? How did it go? Right? They said San Francisco said they wanted the ball, and Mahomes is like, "Ooh, do you really?" Yeah, I just remember that look, and I can't remember exactly what it was. Forgive me.
Yeah. It was something.
Somebody called Josh Peterson. He remembers it exactly.
Michael Penix Jr. hoisting the CFP trophy. Mike Tyson winning that quote unquote fight at Cowboys Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
All the different jerseys Juan Soto could have been wearing, and different hoodies for Bill Belichick. So shout out to the graphics makers whose time did not go to waste.
No,
as they were able to use all of those.
Well, not really.
Well,
their time definitely still did go to waste.
They got paid.
But there was a video.
We go to Kansas City.
Yeah, I got that right, by the way. In the mic'd up video, Mahomes the Chiefs representative in the coin flip kept his cool, and then he sprinted back to the sideline repeating, "They want it, they want it, they want it, baby," until perhaps he fully believed it. "We want them to have the ball. We want them to have the ball.
Catch it." A Missouri motorist was clocked going 107 miles per hour, and when police finally caught up to him,
that's fast.
He told the police he was unaware he was speeding because he was playing a video game.
Oh, no.
Dakota Trevon Crater, 25 years young, pulled over Friday night on I-35 in Clay Como. He was behind the wheel of his 2023 Nissan Sentra when cited for exceeding the 65-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Wow, 107 in a Nissan Sentra.
That's right.
It's got to be some sort of record.
Police say Crater admitted playing video games while driving. He is facing speeding and other vehicular charges.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Where is okay? A review of the Kansas City resident's TikTok page showed that he is highly devoted to My Hero Ultra Rumble, which is a 24-player battle royale game.
Oh no.
We're just naming video games stupid things.
So, but why didn't he just use cruise control in his Nissan Sentra and throw it on 65 and then?
Yeah, it was on I-35. It's not like he was going down like a.
You should not do this, and nor should you be able to do this. But
there is a way to do it smarter if you're going to do it.
That's all.
Finally, Connor, if I say the name Tom Holland,
Bane,
do you know who that is?
No, that's Tom Hardy.
That's right.
Tom Holland. He is the guy. Yeah, he's the skinny guy.
Yeah.
Young guy.
Uh-huh.
He's Spider-Man.
That's right.
Okay.
He is dating Zendaya. as well.
Oh, Zendaya. Are you a Zendaya or a Zendaya guy?
I go back and forth. It's whatever my brain.
I've
tells my
traditionally
mouth
been
to
a
say.
Zendaya guy, but I'm pretty sure it's Zendaya.
Yeah. Okay. Drop the ball on that one. Well, he is featured as the cover athlete for Men's Health this month, and he managed to break up a fight in an LA supermarket.
Wow.
He
Friendly
said,
neighborhood Spider-Man.
That's right. He said, it's going on right behind me. There was a fight. He got like in the mix. He's trying to separate people. And he says, I can see the guy has recognized me immediately. And you could see the wheels turning as if he was saying, I'm really angry right now, but Spider-Man is telling me to calm down. So yeah, I go to the supermarket is how he ended that quote.
That's pretty funny. He kind of seems like a good hang based off of this and this only.
Yeah, so he broke up a fight. He's gearing up for a busy 2025 as he has appeared in 3 Spider-Man movies. That doesn't tell me why his 2025 is busy article.
He has to watch them or something. I'm sure there's probably 2 more coming out.
Probably. There's a million of those things.
Wow. Shout out to Tom Holland.
Tom Holland breaking up fights at your grocery store.
Not my favorite. Third on my list of Tom H's in Hollywood.
Tom Hardy, Tom Hanks,
Tom Holland.
Okay.
Yep. Unless there's another Tom H I'm missing.
I would agree with your Tom H rankings. Top 5 Tom H's later in the show.
How do your Tom H rankings go?
It's got to go Hanks, Hardy, Holland.
Absolutely. We agree on that. Handshake meme.
I'd like Hardy to be in more things.
Yeah.
He works very sporadically.
He does.
So you need a higher.
He kind of seems like a weirdo, if we're being honest.
Definitely. You need a higher hit rate if you're going to work sporadically.
Tom Holland's got a chance. He's got a chance to pass Tom Hardy.
I like him as Spider-Man.
He has no chance to pass Tom Hanks.
Right.
Sadly.
He would be at least 30 years away from that.
Yeah. Not going to happen.
No.
He's no Timothy Chalamet.
He's probably really jealous of Timothy Chalamet, don't you think? Like, God.
Yeah.
Why's that guy getting all the roles?
But at least he's a Tom H.
I'm just Spider-Man.
All right. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's the odd news. We'll come back with the noon hour, more playoff stuff. We'll set the scene in the NFL. We'll remind you of where Nebraska is at in the transfer portal. All to come on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, Josh, have you ever done a deep dive into the NCAA rule book?
No, I didn't. I don't know why I would.
I still am curious. Is there something in there that says that the ball, after it is kicked, has to go through the field goal posts in the air for it to count as a field goal? You're like, what is he saying? Okay. So before the half yesterday in the Texas-Arizona State game, Arizona State's down 17-3, and they go to kick a field goal right before the half. It's blocked. But it bounces into the field goal post, into the uprights, or across the crossbar and through. Should that... I know people were making jokes about it online, like, should that count? Yeah, because it's awesome. Even though that's not how rules work. But it is awesome. It's pretty funny, pretty cool. And if it goes in, they should get credit for it. But does it actually? Is there actually anything specifically stated in the NCAA rulebook that says once a ball goes off the ground, it is dead if it has been blocked? I would
imagine so.
I went on a 3 to 4 minute goose chase during the break, and I couldn't find the right page on the actual PDF of the NCAA rule book. So Google AI has done some work for me here.
Okay.
Unlike some other leagues, NCAA rules do not specifically state that a field goal cannot touch the ground before going through the uprights.
Oh.
According to NCAA rules, if a field goal attempt bounces off the ground and goes through the uprights, it counts. A kick is considered a live ball until it passes through the plane of the goal, meaning a bounce off the ground does not automatically disqualify the score.
So it could bounce at the 2.
So
and go in?
So the reason why that one count is because it bounced in the end zone. Is that what that is saying? Because it did, right? It was blocked, it bounced in the end zone, and then it bounced in. So if it had bounced at the 1 before the goal line and then bounced in, it counts.
That's
wild.
I would imagine there is not a referee in all of college football that knows that. Right?
They know. Right? The refs know the rules. I know. Wading into dangerous waters here.
You cover a show in Big Ten country.
Those guys know what they're doing.
I mean,
I love the refs.
What if some guy was back to return it and it he just completely missed where the ball was going and it bounced off his head and in the uprights?
Yeah, Jose Canseco'd it.
Exactly. That would count, right?
Didn't hit the ground.
Right, yeah.
No. Yeah, I mean, according to how the ball, it's just a weird ball flight. Why did it go down and then back up? I have no idea. Gravity.
The ball is oblong. These things will happen.
It just happens that way. Can you block? Can you put a guy back there and block the goalpost? Is goaltending illegal?
I've never seen it.
I would think that there's something in there for that. Because on a 60-yard field goal, those things are barely scraping the crossbar. So you'd actually be, if that's not a rule, you'd actually be really smart to put a guy back there and goaltend.
With these small rosters, I don't know if you're going to see anyone sign a 7-footer for the sole purpose of blocking a kick.
Well, or you could put two guys, put one guy on top of another guy and have him jump off the guy and toss him into the air.
I would love to see a team really committed to not winning games, but testing the extent of the NCAA rule book.
Me too.
Like Jim Harbaugh had said, "Oh, I've been waiting for years to do that what drop kick field goal or whatever the heck he did. Like, I've been waiting for years for that situation to come up.
Coaches know the rules.
Yeah.
People say that there's not edges anywhere in football anymore because they've all been found wrong. Have you ever think about putting a guy on top of another guy and blocking a field goal?
You ever thought about having a 7-footer on your roster just to hoist up people to block field goals?
I'm not talking about, jumping over and I'm not talking about making a stack of guys in the line of scrimmage.
No,
I'm talking about
player safety.
Yeah, I'm talking about making a stack of dudes back there
at the goalpost.
At the goalpost. He stays in bounds.
Uh-huh.
He stays in bounds. So if he touches it, it's not illegal touching or something like that. Something to consider, Josh. Just something to consider.
Maybe try it. If you're, I don't know, maybe down 1 million points in the Rose Bowl, it might be worth it.
Joe writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Joe.
Remember a drop kick which bounces off the ground before being kicked is still a field goal or an extra point. True.
Now TC,
but that's also before it gets to the goal line, because I think what the rule that I was reading is saying is if once it hits past the goal line, the plane of the end zone, it becomes dead.
Our friend TC is saying it is illegal to block the field goal at the goalpost. That's no fun. I say
they should take that out.
Put it in the rule book and just let people try. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we do idiotic overtime and we do idiotic kickoffs. So why not? Why are we taking the fun out of it? Like, we already took the fun out of those things. Overtime's stupid now.
I thought for sure that Peach Bowl was going to the third overtime, and we'd do the stupid.
It's more wishful thinking, I think.
Well, what a great way to determine a champion.
Yeah. It's more wishful thinking, probably.
How many tweets were in people's draft folders for that?
They were about to let him go. That's for sure. Okay, so we haven't talked about we talked about Ohio. I mean, we haven't really talked about Ohio State. Clearly, they took it up a notch after the Michigan game. Their defense was unbelievable.
Some would ask why getting up for their blood rival wasn't enough.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't claim to know about the emotions and the thought processes of football teams.
They're going to fire Ryan Day, and he's going to win a national championship.
They're not going to fire Ryan. He's officially unfired.
I don't know. They could. The fan base would still be excited.
No, they wouldn't. No, Ryan Day is back now.
He's back.
You clobber Oregon that way, you make up for one of the regular season atrocities. Atrocities.
1 point loss.
I think he's back.
I would imagine so, but the fan base still does not like him.
Now, if they would have lost to Tennessee, I would have been curious.
Oh, yeah.
He would have had to stack a couple guys up and put him at the field goal post to try and block himself from being fired.
Hey, Mike Vrabel, could you go into a microphone and vouch for me? That'd be great. Thanks.
And also say you're not taking the job. Thank you. Their defense was unbelievable. They got vertical in the pass game. How about young Willie Howard?
He's got an arm on him. Where's he been hiding that thing all year?
He's dropping him in there. Now it's a little bit more easy for him, considering he has freak Jeremiah Smith. And then that throw he made over the middle, though, to Ibuka, like draped in between three guys. That's a big throw. Willie might have something going on there, sadly. He's got too good at wide receivers, though, for me to actually tell if he's any good or not. But they should have been getting vertical in the pass game all year long. Remember,
yes.
Remember when they burned Isaac Gifford against Nebraska? It feels like they could kind of do that every time if they wanted to.
Like, I get it. You want to call different plays every time, but I mean, if something's working,
I really do think that is sometimes the deal with Ohio State. They get really specific about the ways they want to win football games, and then forget that they're not playing against themselves, because most of the regular season they are playing against themselves. They are.
Sure, absolutely.
But then they get in these big games and it's like we have to adjust our brains and our thought processes, and they forget to actually, there's a team across from you and you don't have to win in a certain way. You just have to take advantages of your advantages. It turns out Ohio State's advantage is that they have several NFL wide receivers.
Several.
Probably just throw it to them.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Let them find some space.
Do you know CJ Stroud threw, or No, it was Dwayne Haskins, I think. He threw like 50 touchdowns that year. I was looking this up, like the Big Ten's leaders in passing touchdowns, and it's all basically Ohio State quarterbacks, but Dwayne Haskins threw like 50 a few years ago. They were just hucking that thing. Anyway, Ohio State, yep, they look sort of like a wagon. I don't know if they could lose to Texas, but I have famously been pretty lukewarm on them this year. Let's talk about them real quick.
Okay. Quinn.
Dude, that guy, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with him because he's a star. He's a star in the sport. In fact, actually, you know what? I do know what to do with him. He's a star in the sport, and he's the quarterback of Texas, right? Former 5-star. He's holding off Arch Manning and all this stuff.
Sark clearly loves him.
But that guy stinks. And like, there's different levels of stinks.
Right.
He is not. I watch him, and he's just not like. He just doesn't do it for me. He just does not do it for me. Let me float it. Just float it down the field. Available for anybody to intercept at any time.
Rookie of the year.
Float it. Float it, Henry. Float it. That's what he said. That's what Sark says to him all the time. So I'm not in love with them. That's why I picked them to lose to Arizona State. Credit to ASU. It felt like they were really living on the edge for the entire first half. I imagine the blocked field goal going into half was a pretty big demoralizer too. It's like, oh wow, we actually got it down here. There's some semblance of life. Let's just take 3 points, go into halftime, try to get a stop coming out, and that gets blocked. Like, oh my, they're getting swallowed up whole right now. 17-3. And then coming out of the break right away, they get a 3 and out. They drove it all the way down. And then they get turned down at the goal line. The Texas is a goal line stand, and then they get the safety. And the wheels start to turn a little bit for them. Cam Skattebo. Josh, this is your guy.
Ooh, it's
a good guy to have.
Yeah.
He's a freak. What was he doing? I am so glad that, first of all,
okay?
Yeah, I don't know. His eyes are too far apart. He was staring at the camera. Nobody can hear you, Cam. Nobody can hear you.
Nope.
He was reportedly vomiting profusely during the game. Vomiting profusely.
It's profusely that gets me because
there's vomiting all the time. There's the Penn State guy that puked everywhere.
Hunter Watson, quarterback of Iowa Western, now quarterback at Sam Houston State, often vomited before the first drive of a game.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to puke it out.
Just get the nerves out. Willie Beeman style.
Yeah.
And that they never said profusely on any of those other players.
Vomiting profusely.
Yes. Was Stephen Ashworth vomiting profusely?
Oh yeah, I don't think it was profusely.
Okay.
I think it was just regular old vomiting.
Okay.
Also, they say they never say puking.
No,
they always say vomiting.
Yeah.
Would you say what you did that one day was vomit or puke?
It was puke. It was puking. In that trash can right there.
But if we had like a sideline reporter for this show, they would have been like, he's vomiting profusely.
That is a great bit idea.
Hey, let's check in with the guys.
Hey, guys, I'm down here on the sideline.
Connor's tired. He needs an Uncrustable.
Connor Happer does not have it today.
That's like 3 out of the 5 days of the week. So I'm still out on Texas. And shout out to Arizona State. It feels like they won in a way.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure Texas fans are like, oh, we just really shot ourselves in the foot like 4 times.
They took that's a team that won the Big 12, but they live in the same neighborhood as Nebraska. I guess you could put them in this conversation. Like they live in that neighborhood where you're a good enough team that you can win 7, 8, or 9 games, and if it really, really breaks right for you, and you have a couple really good players, preferably one on each side of the ball, one of which they had to deal without yesterday,
Wednesday,
the opposite of Saturday. Could there be any more opposite day of Saturday?
Well, question going up, is Wednesday the opposite of Saturday?
Absolutely. You got to have a couple good players like that and have it all work out for you, and all of a sudden you can You can make a little playoff run at it. So they captured everybody's hearts and attention yesterday.
It was a fun day. Cam got a lot of eyeballs on him, which is good because I think he's going to be the best running back in the draft.
Whoa! Does the draft think this?
I don't know. Maybe I'm saying something NFL honks believe.
I don't know what the draft thinks of Mr. Skattebo.
I think we're going to have a Cam versus Ashton run for 2 weeks on the Chit Chat shows. And everybody's going to have to pick one.
So, according to CBSSports.com,
okay, reputable source.
Don't know when this last was updated. Here's their running back ratings for the NFL. Genty, Quinshon Judkins.
Oh, he's good too.
Omarion Hampton, North Carolina. Nick Singleton, Penn State. Travion Henderson.
Oh, no. You're saying a lot of names.
Ollie Gordon.
Oh, God.
RJ Harvey. Cam Skattebo.
Oof.
Ouch.
Well.
Wrong, Josh.
Well, he did all those things in the Peach Bowl. He threw. Did you see that pass?
He did. He threw it. He said something about taking his check down to the wide receiver. He's insane. He seems like the guy like I would absolutely hate hanging out with. I would never want to hang out with him. He seems way too intense for me. His dad seems crazy.
But he's perfect for a Dillingham team, right?
He's great for a Dillingham team. I don't think I want to hang out with Dillingham either.
That team adopted the personality of its head coach where
they did.
I am crazy.
Guy's a freak.
Let's go.
Yep.
And okay, I will run through a brick wall for you, sir.
Chance writes in, hey, Draft, what do you think? Draft. He's pretty good.
Well said, Chance.
I don't know what the draft thinks of him.
And we would call Frank Caliendo and get him to Cam Skattebo.
Get Kuiper.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. And then Penn State.
These guys.
A lot of people are going to have to apologize for some things they said about Penn State.
Me. I'm the problem. It's me.
I think they're very good. I think Penn State can win a national championship, and that's real.
Yeah.
And the difference is, like they always have a good defense. They're really, really good on the defensive line. Now, the thing to watch for them in the semifinal game will be will Abdul Carter play. He left the game in like the first or second quarter, and he never came back. But their defense is going to be really good. Great linebackers, good defense. Good defensive front always. They've always had that. But they are getting some real life quarterback play from Mr. Aller.
Yeah.
He's throwing that thing.
It's a little like Ohio State where, wow, if your quarterback can do that instead of what I think of your quarterback, which is very mid, like, yeah, you're going to win games.
At the same time, it looked like it was going to be a train wreck for Boise State in the first several minutes of that game.
Yes.
And then Boise just hung in there. Got it down. They got it to 17-14. I didn't even realize that until I looked back at the win probability yesterday. They got it back to 17-14. It never really felt like they were threatening. They had some momentum. They had some juice. And another shout out to one of the favorite players of everyone in college football, Mr. Genty.
He's good.
What did I say before the game? I said Genty's probably going to have like 35 carries for 98 yards. What did he end up with in the game?
Well, they were playing from behind. I can't imagine he had that many carries.
I bet he had, my guess would be that he had 30 for 110, somewhere around that range. Because he ended up falling just short of the season record.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up with 30 carries.
Oh, wow.
For 104 yards.
Look at you. Spot on analysis.
I was always going to be the way for them. But they had to play from at least an even point. So they didn't do that. Sam writes in.
Hi, Sam.
Interesting. Cam mentioned the check down on the Dan Patrick show. Yes, I saw this. DP listener confirmed.
We all listening to Dan Patrick now?
Well, I'm not listening to Dan Patrick because I'm on the air.
Yeah, you're working.
Yeah. Or getting ready to work. Yeah, he said, well, you know what's funny? The tweet just came up. They just tweeted out the interview with Mr. Skattebo. Cam Skattebo reveals that the play for his touchdown pass was called Philly Special and explains that he actually called an audible so that he could throw it to the receiver.
Philly Special.
I think he was supposed to throw it back to Sam Levitt, and then he was supposed to throw it.
Sure. Okay.
And he was like, nope, I'm doing this. That guy is crazy.
He is crazy. We say that word too much.
Yeah.
Cam Skattebo
He's a nut.
is crazy.
He is a nut. And so that's the playoff.
Wow, his eyes are really far apart.
I know. Shocking, isn't it?
Someone said in here, I think it might have been Chance. Yes, it was. Cam is the hammerhead shark of college football.
Any final picks on Notre Dame and Georgia? Mr. McMaster is hell-bent on saying that Notre Dame is going to get blasted to smithereens today. I do not think that.
Notre Dame is too good in the trenches to not score.
Hey, I also
keep it real simple and
Georgia is really good and they're really talented, but I fail to see how they're head and shoulders better than a team like Notre Dame, who has been one of the best teams in the country all year long. I don't see that.
Do you have a lot of faith in Gunnar Stockton? Whoever the hell that is.
Yeah. Notre Dame.
I'm sure he's probably a 5-star because he's the Georgia quarterback.
I don't even get, because Notre Dame is a favorite. They're a one. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Mr. McMaster.
They won't score.
0 points. They're about to find out what the real college football looks like. That's quite a limb to go out on to start 2025. Now, I think Notre Dame's going to win.
I think so too.
I think Notre Dame's going to win. Nobody has talked about how the Orange Bowl, which is the semifinal game between Penn State and then the winner of this game today, that's a week from today. Obviously, with the Sugar Bowl getting pushed back because of what happened in New Orleans on New Year's Eve, which is horrendous.
Very.
It takes away another day. And then you add on Penn State played the first game, which was New Year's Eve. And so they get, almost 2 full extra days if we're talking about rest. And we always do that with the NFL, right?
Rest seems to be a bad thing in college football as the teams with a bye have lost.
I guess so. Maybe they just were worse.
Who's to say?
Maybe there's just a seeding problem and we have to change all the seeds now.
Also, Kirk Herbstreit, you do not have to respond to everyone.
Dude.
Just put the phone
seriously.
down. Pet your dog.
Also, we don't have to show the dog on every broadcast of everything.
They gave him a title now. He's like the commander of cuddles or something.
We don't. My love of dogs is well documented on this show.
That's right.
And I get it. Ohio State is wrecking Oregon, and it's just like, okay, whatever. Show the dog.
We need to keep eyeballs on this game somehow. Show the dog.
I can't believe you guys fall for this crap. Seriously.
The dog gives me cover to talk trash on literally everyone I come across.
Exactly. All right, we're back with Michael Bruntz coming up on the other side. We'll check out in with Nebraska in the transfer portal. Excuse me, I believe that belongs to Mr. Gilmore. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, putting out the bat signal for Bruntz. Was very excited. I am. We'll talk to him here. I am very excited to ask him about his trip to New York and all the things that surrounded that. If he got any, let's bring him up. Michael Bruntz, Husker 247, joining us now on the 42 Degrees of Source Hotline. Hello, Michael.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Did you bring home any wet confetti?
Wet confetti?
Yeah, from the no, from the Pinstripe Bowl.
No, I didn't. I didn't get it. They didn't let us schlubs anywhere near the field. So
yeah, you would have had to wear your big boots in order to get down there.
I would have had to blow into the open air press box. So it didn't. But yeah, I no confetti, and I actually didn't bring anything. No bowl swag. So
really,
that was disappointing. Yeah.
Huh.
Unless I missed out on the giveaways. No bowl swag.
Nothing at all. You didn't even go to a store and get a magnet that is shaped in the shape of the Empire State Building and put it on the fridge?
No. Well, I mean, what I'm saying is usually I've got a Foster Farms to go coffee mug that I still use that was provided by the bowl game itself. There was none of that this year.
Yeah, I've seen I've seen backpacks and hats and quarter zips and things of that nature. You got zilch?
I got I still got a surprisingly convenient Capital One Bowl picnic blanket. If you're ever out picnicking, you can think of the Nebraska, South Carolina Capital One Bowl.
Yeah, rate your most useful bowl swag items. Is that number one?
No, there was one of the other Capital One Bowl of the back-to-back. They had it was like a really nice Under Armour backpack that I still use.
Oh yeah,
occasionally. And then the one that was random, since we're talking bowl swag, I guess. Gator Bowl, the rainy Georgia-Nebraska matchup.
Yep. Thought about that game a lot last week.
They give you a full-size suitcase.
Wow.
So, you had to go into the bowels of the stadium in Jacksonville there, and they gave you your little roll-away suitcase. I think mine made it 2 trips, and then it just fell apart. So that was too bad. But yeah, I'd say that was. I would say the Under Armour backpack and the picnic blanket. Those are probably the 2 best ones.
Not bad. And then there was the game on top of that, which I know it's the thing for the media to complain about the open air press box, but I haven't heard much coming off of the game.
It was nice. It was warmer than some holiday bowls. That's
really?
Surprisingly. Yes.
That's pretty funny. It didn't seem like it watching on TV. I mean, it looked completely miserable.
No, the open air thing was kind of back a ways. They had the rotisserie, the fast food heat lamps going up there. So it was pretty toasty. It was nice.
Yeah, good. And then there was the game.
Yes.
Which, went pretty well for Nebraska. I think we've done one show. We did a show on Monday since the game happened, and really since before we went on break last week for Christmas break. And we talked about it a little bit, but not really a lot, because it feels like still in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty low impact. It was nice for Nebraska to be able to get that win. But don't you think sort of all of the attention is focused on what they're doing or what they're not doing elsewhere, being in the transfer portal?
Yeah, it was that way leading up to it too. I mean, it's funny. It was a portal for 3 weeks, and then it's like, oh right, we've got to go to New York for a football game. And I don't know, if the game felt unremarkable just because Nebraska, basically until the special teams explosion late in the fourth quarter, Nebraska never felt like they were in any kind of danger whatsoever in that game. On a non-sloppy field, it felt like that probably would be a 3-touchdown win, like more of a Wisconsin type game from earlier this season than anything. Maybe I'm wrong, but
no, it felt that way.
It just, it when the blocked punt happened, it was kind of like, oh wow, like Nebraska really has not been stressed at all in this game. They never trailed. It was just a pretty even keel type game, and I think you got to give Nebraska staff a little bit of credit for that. I mean, you've got essentially a new offensive coordinator, a completely new defensive coordinator. You're playing without several of your main guys along that defensive line, and I mean, Boston College offensively, they had the long screenplay. Their quarterback made some throws that were, you kind of tip your cap to him for making them, but I never felt like there was a lot of stress there.
Is there something to be said, even though the stress did come eventually, because it always does? Is there anything to be said for the way they won it? Meaning, like to get the fourth down with the offense on the field, like, because that could have gone a variety of different ways after the block punt, and Nebraska was able to finish it off. Something that they have routinely not been able to do with their offense, whether they're playing from ahead or from behind.
Yeah, no, it was it felt like a fitting end to the game. Like Nebraska pretty much dominated up front in that game, I think, and they were able to get off the field. And offensively, they made some plays when it mattered. I mean, the fourth down throw to Emmett. I mean that play is somewhat fraught with danger when it's kind of mucky the way it was. They got the yards late when they needed to. I mean, even the questionable slide by Dylan, him to pull the ball in that situation. I mean, that's not something that we saw a lot this year from him. So I don't know. I mean, you're kind of looking for turning points, I guess, in the season and maybe his career, but it felt like he was playing with a little bit more confidence in that game than what we'd seen from him in the back half of the schedule.
Yeah, I thought that was the case for both him. There was some emotion there, and then we saw a lot of good pops from Shavers, who I think was the main guy coming out of the game. It's like, whoa, a few guys. Barney's been there all year, who had their freshman years this year, and then it felt like they really did make the jump to their sophomore years in the final game. Whether and I think that's the type of thing that could carry into the offseason. Like, hey, we have this, there's some proof of performance now, and it's not just like, hey, we have to start fresh next year. There's a little bit of a base to go off of and say, all right, we can do this if we're playing fast and all the I thought a few of those guys made tangible jumps in the bowl game.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's kind of trite to say it, but I do really think that the bowl games, non-playoff bowl games nowadays, I mean, they're much more about the year that's coming up rather than the year that you're kind of finishing off with the portal and the schedule and everything the way it is right now. So, I mean, Donovan Jones, you got 50-some snaps of him at cornerback in that game that, I would have, probably bet on a few snaps for him, but, to come in and play like he did in a game where, you slip once and that's all she wrote. And, he played really well. You saw Caleb Benning in there. I mean, a number of young guys, that are redshirting this year or true freshmen that are going to have really big roles next year. We got a pretty good preview of those guys. You even had Jordan Ochoa out there.
I know.
Quarterbacks around.
Bruntz, I honestly said out loud, I was like, who is Ochoa? I've never seen Ochoa.
The pride of Castle Rock, Colorado.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But no, I mean, you have those kinds of performances. You're kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's a guy you file away in the back of your mind for spring ball in a few months here.
Wide receiver spot is come into quite the focus over the last couple of weeks here with the additions that Nebraska's made in the portal, and then also the subtractions that they've had off the roster as well. What is that position? I mean, it looks a lot different than it did at the end of November. That's for sure. How do you feel about that group right now? What they've done? And is there any more to do, I guess, at that position? Because it feels like you're getting close to the end there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're kind of getting to the end of the changes there, unless, there's something that unforeseen that happens of a guy leaving or something like that. But, I go back to kind of what Matt Rhule had been saying. When was the last spring? I think that they were talking about guys needing to be better in the one-on-ones and winning one-on-one battles. And I think that's one thing that they've really tried to do here is bring in guys that can do that. So it's a different room. I think it needed to be made over, and I think you're also seeing the benefits of having a returning quarterback, pretty talented too, that they're able to go out and get some of those guys.
So what's next? Where like they're still looking in the portal, and then there will still have to be departures as well. What do you see coming over these next couple weeks for Nebraska in the portal?
Yeah, I think it's going to lean. Well, I mean, offensive tackle is still a big need. I think you'll see a little bit more focus on some defensive help. And then, you don't have to be down to that 105 number until basically the start of the season. So you've got some time there, but I think you'll still see some guys trickle out here closer to the spring probably. And with the walk-on piece of it too, I mean, a lot of those guys are probably trying to decide what they're going to do and kind of get their ducks in a row, I guess, before they hit the portal. Because, I mean, you're still, 30-some guys from that 105 number. So
right around there,
I think you'll still see quite a bit of that happening in the spring, too, because it's at least starting to slow down a little bit, I think, now. Because Nebraska has only the 5 days after the end of their season to get in the portal there.
All right, Bruntz. Appreciate it as always. Happy New Year. Thanks for doing it. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Talk, man.
All right, that's Michael Bruntz of Husker 247. So, thinking we were talking a little bit about the scholarship math on the podcast this morning. Mitch and I were, and so he got it down to they have 100-ish. These numbers are not quite exact because we don't always know who's on scholarship and who's not on, whatever. 100 players coming back. They've already added in 12 portal additions. They added 20 recruits that they signed in this year. Yeah, 132. So you lose 27, and then you look at the roster right now, and it won't be this cut and dry, but they have around that many walk-ons.
Okay.
So I don't know if people follow this
dire straits.
If people follow this like super closely on the day-to-day, but they're still going to add a couple offensive linemen and a linebacker, probably maybe a running back even. So maybe you could add in 5 more portal guys. I don't know, 5 more portal guys. So you're up to 17 portal guys at that point. That bumps your number up to 137-ish, somewhere in that range. You don't have to be concerned about this quite yet because they don't have to be to the 105 by probably July. And we still don't even know exactly what that looks like.
Non-issue.
I think it's not nothing.
I'm prepared to forget about it.
Okay. Yeah, I think you were going to forget about it anyway. All right, we'll come back. It's time to grunt the slate. There is a lot on the line this weekend. We'll take you through a little bit of that. And I'll make sure Josh knows what the stakes are before he grunts.
Oh, okay. That would be helpful.
Coming up.
Chance, stay tuned.
On 1620 The Zone.
Grunt the slate, grunt the slate, grunt the slate. I'm gonna grunt the slate, grunt the slate. Gonna grunt the slate. Grunt the slate, grunt the slate. Grunt the slate. Grunt the slate. Oh my goodness.
Where my grunters at?
Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? 2024 has been left in the rear view mirror.
Done with it.
2025 is here and we're still grunting. 2025, still grunting. I got a tweet up at No Context 1620.
Oh,
just now. That is a screenshot of about 6 comments in a row on our YouTube stream. Oh, yes. First grunts of 2025, baby. OMG, he's grunting at me. Can we get a pregame Sugar Bowl grunt? It's time! Grunters rise up! Time! Let's go! We are so back! Year of the grunt! The people are fired up. That's all.
Who am I to deny the people what they want? It's so simple.
Cannot. All right, the NFL. All right, so just a reminder, it's Thursday today.
It is Thursday.
Today is the day that is Thursday.
There is no Thursday night football in the NFL is done.
Doesn't exist, thank God.
It's dead.
Because they would have put the Colts and the Jags on this. Honestly, just put it there. Probably.
Yeah.
And
you can play it tonight. It's fine.
People hate watch it.
Just go through it.
And there's no games tomorrow. But we have a pair of interesting games on Saturday.
We do.
And we have plenty to root for on Sunday. So, Josh, as we go through the slate today, I will give you a little extra context. I will tell you what's on the line in each game.
Okay. And again, people don't believe me. I literally only know 2 games on the NFL.
You know what's coming up Sunday night,
Uh-huh.
and you know whatever's playing in the afternoon on 1620 The Zone, whatever that is.
I just know that the Chiefs are playing the Broncos.
Okay, you got that. All right, but there's a lot
That is a
going
3
on.
o'clock game.
All right, Saturday, a pair of meaningful football games in the National Football League. Should I give you the context before or after you grunt it? Why don't I'll give you the game, then you grunt it, then I'll give you the what's at stake.
Okay, that's more pressure on me, but that's fine. That's
yeah,
fine.
That's what I want.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Cleveland, the Browns at the Ravens.
Oh.
I don't. This is one of the less meaningful. Baltimore clinches the 3 seed if they win.
Yes. Yes.
If they lose and Pittsburgh wins, Pittsburgh gets the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're talking about a bye, right? But like, they're playing Cleveland. They're like 17-point favorites. I mean, this is a nightmare.
This is a very easy game for Baltimore. Surely it will be a layup.
Baltimore is 19-point favorites.
Oh my God.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
19?
19.
Michael Severe, tell me the history of 19-point favorites.
I can't imagine there's been many.
Yeah. Wow.
So you were kind of interested. All right, you're going to be interested in a lot this weekend then. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh.
I got one for this.
Okay.
Yes! Oh, yeah! Can you feel that, buddy? Huh? I have exercised the demon.
If the Bengals win, they need Miami and Denver to both lose to get in.
Both lose.
So, yes, the Bengals need to win and then need both Miami and Denver to lose.
Denver would have to lose to the Chiefs' backups.
Most of them.
Yes.
If either of those don't happen, the Bengals are out. The Bengals can't get in any other situation. So that's what's at stake for them, but they have to win first. And remember, they're playing this game on Saturday before either of those other teams play.
And Hard Knocks is there.
Pittsburgh, what's at stake for them? They get the division if they win and Baltimore loses. If the Steelers lose, they are the 5 or the 6, and they have the tiebreak with the Chargers. So if they finish with the same record, they'll have the better seed than them. Understood?
Understood. Yes, sir.
You see had a confused look on your face.
That's just
yes,
my face.
sir. Thank you. All right, we move to Sunday.
Okay.
At noon, Panthers, Falcons.
Oh.
Yeah, that's appropriate. The Falcons need to win and the Bucks need to lose. That's the only way Atlanta gets
Okay.
in. Panthers, nothing.
Not even draft position. I mean,
UConn Cornelius, nothing. Commanders at Cowboys.
Pro Bowl quarterback there in Washington.
The football Commanders are in the playoffs.
They are.
So there's little at stake, but there is something. There will either be the 6 or the 7. They have the tiebreak over Green Bay. So if Green Bay loses, the Washington football Commanders are the 6 seed no matter what.
I would say you probably don't want to play Green. Well, they
wouldn't play each other.
Yeah.
It's the difference
Just trying
between
to think of who'd you rather play.
The question is going to be, would you rather play Philly or whoever wins the West, say, the Rams? I almost said St. Louis.
I mean, they'd probably rather play Philly because they know them, right?
Who knows? I don't know. I don't know if I want to go to Philly in January. Bears at Packers. So the Packers are in. They need to win and Washington to lose to Dallas to get the 6, but that's as high as they can go. Not much at stake there. Texans at Titans. No, that should have been way worse than that.
Oh, Titans are going to be looking good. Titans have a shot at the number 1 overall draft pick.
Yeah, nothing at stake
or everything.
Nothing at stake for them.
The
Shador
bragging rights for the city of Houston are on the line.
Do you want Shador?
I don't actually. I think he's too slight.
Is he gonna go number 1? I don't know. The Texans are the 4 seed no matter what, and the Titans have nothing to play for other than draft position. This game does not matter in the slightest bit.
1st to 7 wins.
Maybe.
Neither team will be trying.
Jags at Colts. Cam Skattebo. He's
had a bad cross
sandwich.
Oh my God,
he's vomiting profusely on the sideline. Literally nothing. Maybe draft positioning at stake in this one. Bills at Patriots. This is all at noon on Sunday.
Ooh.
No. Why would you care about this? There's nothing at stake.
The Patriots are the number 1 pick in the NFL draft right now.
All right. You and your you draft honks.
As a Titans fan, this is important to me.
Nothing at stake. The Bills are the 2. The Patriots suck. And nothing will change that. Nothing will change either of those things.
No.
Giants and Eagles. No. How are you even considering this?
No.
This is dump. This is crap.
I agree with that. I was trying to think of a grunt I haven't used yet.
Oh, okay. You could fart still. Yeah. Nothing. Giants already blew their tank opportunity, and the Eagles are the 2.
Look, I know we want to kind of go faster than we're going.
We don't.
But okay,
we're fine.
I just want to say this to the Eagles. I understand you're thinking about Super Bowls and all of that. Saquon Barkley, 103 yards against the team that betrayed him. Give me that. Let me watch that.
You can't watch it. He's not playing, right?
Play him.
He's not playing.
God.
Did you hear his comments? He was like,
cowardice.
He was like, yeah, well, I guess that's, I guess that is whatever. It's his choice.
I guess.
He did not seem super gung-ho about it. Sometimes you need to protect the players from themselves.
Yeah, I trust me. I get it. But as a football viewer, I just want to see it.
Saints at Buccaneers.
No.
There's a little at stake here.
I don't think so.
The Saints, there's nothing, but the Bucks are win and in. If the Bucks lose and Atlanta wins, they're out.
They'll make quick work of New Orleans.
If the Bucks win and the Rams lose, the Bucks are the 3.
Oh.
Still in play.
I had not realized that.
Sunday afternoon, Chiefs and Broncos. It is funny. That's a good grunt for this game.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are the 1. Patrick Mahomes is sitting.
He's having a baby.
Nothing is on the line for them at all. Pacheco is sitting. There's a couple other guys. Denver wins. Denver needs it bad.
Yeah.
Which is the funny part about this. Cue the good laugh there from Josh. Denver needs to win this game in order to have a chance to get in.
Oh, it's not winning in for Denver. Okay.
Actually, no, it is winning in.
Okay.
It is winning in. If Denver wins, they are the 7 going to Buffalo. If Denver loses, they can still get in, but would need both Miami and Cincinnati to lose.
Kansas City does not want the Cincinnati Bengals in this tournament.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't think many AFC teams do. And remember, if Cincinnati gets in, they're the 7 going to Buffalo.
Interesting.
Intriguing. Then you'll get a repeat of Joe Burrow throwing that ball into the snow like he did last year. Also Sunday afternoon, Chargers and Raiders. That's a game. There's a Jim Harbaugh lookalike contest coming up in 10 days in Los Angeles.
Probably not a lot of guys that look like Jim Harbaugh in LA.
What's your grunt? Yeah, big sigh. Chargers are in the postseason. They are likely the 6. They could be the 5 if Pittsburgh loses to Cincinnati. That's as high as they can go.
Okay.
Seattle and Los Angeles. The Rams. The Rams version. Los Angeles. Rams version.
I like that.
It's not high on the list, that's for sure. Rams win and they are the 3. They'd be the 4 if they lose and Tampa beats New Orleans. Jimmy Garoppolo will be starting this game at quarterback.
Seattle could win 10 games and miss the playoffs.
That's how much the Rams care about this game.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be starting Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G.
And Stetson Bennett will be backing him up.
People forget.
I'm curious to see where you're going on this. Dolphins, Jets.
Aaron Rodgers' last game as an NFL quarterback.
Allegedly.
What do I got over here? That's where I'm going.
Okay. So Miami, there's a lot on the line. Miami needs to win this to have a chance.
Uh-huh.
If they do win, they need Denver to lose. They have the tiebreak over Cincinnati. So if Cincinnati wins and all those other things happen, it doesn't matter for them. Whatever happens to Cincinnati doesn't matter for Miami. So there's a lot on the line for them. And then there's the whole Jets thing. Which, does Aaron Rodgers go out in a blaze of glory? Does he throw more interceptions? Does he go rogue and have a 400-yard passing game or something like that to keep Miami out of the playoff? Miami's just the victim of this.
Does he throw a temper tantrum on the sideline and walk off before the game's over?
Does he do a late hit out of bounds on somebody after throwing an interception?
Second week in a row, he would have done that.
Could be fun. I'm interested. There's something in there.
Yeah.
Because the other game in the afternoon slate is Niners and Cardinals. And I can't think of one single thing that is available for either team.
Ooh, no.
Health.
Who does number 2 work for? That's right, buddy. You show that turd who's boss.
Exactly.
It's my thoughts on Cardinals Niners.
That's a bad game. There's one more.
Monday Night Football?
Josh said. He's getting ready.
I'm ready.
He's getting ready to hit that button.
Chance, it's coming.
Vikings at Lions. The most on the line and also the most simple. Winner gets the 1, loser gets the 5. Somebody gets a nice little route to the NFC title game, and somebody's got to go the hard way.
Lions tinkering with the black uniforms on Sunday night.
Oh, is this a rumor? Is this confirmed?
Chance could probably tell me if it's confirmed or not. I heard a rumor.
Where are you hearing Lions rumors?
Oh, you're not plugged into Lions?
No.
The Lions Hive?
No.
Okay.
I got to get more in there.
Yeah.
You got you got stuff on everything, Detroit. You had the Tarek Skubal thing.
I did.
Months before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job by you.
Cy Young winner.
This game is awesome. And it couldn't have worked out any better that both of the teams are 14-2. 14-2.
You're going to have a 14-win team as the 5 seed.
Detroit is a straight up 3-point favorite at home. That's going to be rocking in that thing. I kind of like the Vikings.
So does Laura Rutledge.
I knew she was cool. I knew me and Laura Rutledge agreed on things. Like the way the Vikings are playing right now. I'm sorry, Chance. I know.
Sam Darnold and them boys.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I love this. This is a great game. And that's the NFL this weekend. And that's what's at stake.
Oddly, very little at stake.
Oh, I don't know about that. Don't you care about who's the 5 and the 6 seed? Because that's basically it.
I don't.
You don't?
I care about that Vikings-Lions game.
We could have taken it a step further and gone with like the potential matchups, right? Because then it gets a little freaky. I'm not that deep into the sheets on this thing like quite yet. Although you could predict who the two. You already pretty much know who the 2s and the 3s and the 4s are, and you know who the 1s will be, or the opportunity to have the 1s. So, like, I'm sure each of the individual fan bases is like, oh boy, I don't want to go there. I do want to go there. I do want to have this and all that stuff. But
Packers Hive is like beside themselves.
We will have
as always.
We will have a very good idea of what needs to happen in order to get a fun day on Sunday after Saturday, because there's a lot that's going to be decided in those 2 games on Saturday.
That whole AFC North.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for grunting. Thank you for grunting along at home with us.
That's right.
I know there's many fans of the grunt. We appreciate you all. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
All right, welcome back. For the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Year number 4. This is our senior year, Josh.
Oh, wow.
We're graduating after this.
We're going to make the leap?
Yeah, where are we going?
We're going to hit the portal.
No, not going to hit the portal.
What's our NIL valuation?
We have to go digging in the couch for a couple more years of eligibility. That's what we have to do.
COVID year, hardship year.
Oh, we played in JUCO?
Yep.
We did both. I mean, you're involved with the JUCO. I played in JUCO for 10 seconds. And so I think we could probably get 2 years out of that at least. And then
we're fine.
Once you get past 6, then you bridge the gap to whatever comes next. Oh, I'm in grad school. Maybe by then there will be no eligibility whatsoever. It's just like, we all sign contracts, and this is just professional college sports.
Play until you're no good anymore.
I mean, that was the argument that your boy Diego Pavia had.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, well, it's not fair that I ran out of I mean, basically what it boiled down to is that I still can't believe, and we talked about this a lot before before we left for break. I still can't believe that is a thing. Eligibility is fake.
Yes.
Eligibility is fake. And basically what his argument boiled down to was, well, you took away an opportunity for me to make money.
By restricting how many years I can play.
Right. How is that fair?
It's not my fault no NCAA school saw talent in me and I had to go to New Mexico military.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my fault.
No. It's
clearly
somebody else's fault.
Clearly I can ball. Have you seen me beat Hugh Freeze 3 times in my collegiate career?
I would have made $1 million. I was going to make $1 million next year, but you won't let me play. That's basically what he said.
Sure.
How could that? I mean, that could be the argument for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
What an interesting precedent by the courts.
You fired me. I was going to make money.
It's crazy.
I was going to be dentist of the year, and you fired me.
A dentist? Like in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? I don't think I watched it this year, by the way.
Oh, no.
I know. I feel a little disappointed, but I got enough UConn Cornelius jokes thrown at me that I was fine.
Feels like you have seen it.
But I like to watch it every year.
Sure.
I like to catch up. The kid wanted to be a dentist.
He did.
What a weirdo. I always thought that kid was weird. He was always my least favorite person in the movie.
Definitely weird.
Absolutely. James Franklin has and others for the record, has a nickname for his star running back.
This should be good.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to guess what I'm going to say right.
Okay.
Fat Man.
Oh, no.
Speaking of lawsuits, like take James Franklin to the courts. You can't start calling people Fat Man.
Fat Man.
Apparently Nick Singleton's mother, Katron Allen's mother, gave him the nickname Fat Man, which is possibly even more offensive. And of course, Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton were both very, very good in the Fiesta Bowl, which is, like I said, over the weekend. Damn it. The best of the bowls, one of the best of the bowls, just behind the Rose Bowl. Anyway, takes on Fat Man. Thoughts on Fat Man?
I mean, who am I to get in between a man and his mother? But I don't know if that's what you want. Yeah, everyone's called you that your whole life and it's worked out for you, but I don't know if that's the nickname you want.
No. So we had this exercise, or I thought of this idea as I was watching the Fiesta Bowl. And Twitter was not a great place to explain myself.
Really? You don't say.
It never is. By the way, this is why all the whole narrative talk in college football has just got completely you have to somehow, turns out arguments and conversations are like super nuanced, and it doesn't have to be all black and white. We'd like to do this all the time. So I'm like, hey, I think the Fiesta Bowl is the second best bowl. And then I don't have time or space to explain myself. And they're like, I wonder why he thinks that.
But also, what an innocuous thing to say. Why would that trigger anyone?
I don't think actually anybody was mad about this. Nobody really responded and got mad about it. But I thought, I've never explained myself on this. Why is the Fiesta Bowl the second best bowl? And it was, I thought about it again while we were talking with Matt in the crossover about the like what you call the arenas based on kind of how old you are and what age, I guess, demographic that you're in.
I hadn't even thought of it like that.
I absolutely grew up when the Fiesta Bowl was awesome.
Yeah. When they were
Tostitos,
sending players on various trips.
I also like the colors. I think the colors of the Fiesta Bowl are the second best to the Rose Bowl.
Works well in that gigantic University of Phoenix stadium.
Phoenix, like they put their own stamp on it. It's not as seemingly corporately washed as the Cotton Bowl or the Peach Bowl. Both those games are played, and I know the Tostitos, formerly known as the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, is played in a giant NFL stadium as well with a very corporate name like State Farm Stadium attached to it. But
that's what it's called now. Thank you.
In Dallas, it just feels weird. And in Atlanta, I mean, the Peach Bowl was never really a part of the main bowl conversation when I was growing up, and then they brought it back for the New Year's Six thing.
Many people who cover the sport were amazed you could get into the Peach Bowl for $16 because there was such a lack of,
well, there wasn't an SEC team playing in it.
There was.
Not really. If Texas would have lost, they would have not been an SEC team.
That's fair.
They would have been booted out of the SEC immediately. And then there was, Arizona State, who they travel lighter.
Definitely.
Anyway, not heavy enough to fill up an NFL stadium. But I will admit that I stayed around in the Rose Bowl to watch the sunset behind the San Gabriel Mountains.
It's tradition. You have to.
I love it.
Even though we make fun of it, yeah, I have to see it.
I love it. I loved it. I loved it this year. Although Oregon's jerseys.
Didn't like the helmet in combination with that jersey. The jersey was fine.
Everybody's trying to do chrome and stuff, But so rank your BCS New Year's Six games.
I sent you. It was Rose.
Yep.
Orange, Fiesta. And that's just because when I grew up, Nebraska always went to the Orange Bowl, and it was like, okay, when's the Orange Bowl?
So there's only three that I can, and I don't know why this is. I have never cared about the Sugar Bowl.
It's just it's always been so blah for some reason.
I've never cared about the Sugar Bowl, and then the Peach Bowl was like outside of the BCS when they brought the deer. Like, and I think the same goes for how old you are.
John loves the Cotton Bowl. I guarantee it.
You think John loves the Cotton Bowl? I don't know.
I
don't care about the Cotton Bowl.
I don't care about the Cotton Bowl at all.
Outside of the BCS, it came in as a new New Year's Six game. And so however old you are, will probably tell you your favorite playoff format as well. John will say, well, I like when they didn't have a national championship game and they just voted.
I liked when the Alliance voted 3 days after the season was over.
That's cool.
And told us who won.
Yeah. I think about the BCS from time to time.
I think about 1 versus 2.
I think about 1 versus 2. I think about what college football was like when there was one national championship game and it was a debate on who the most fitting and there was multiple qualified teams to get into the BCS national championship game. And yeah, I think in a lot of cases it was a disappointment to go to, whatever bowl happened after, whatever bowl that was outside of that, whether it be the, maybe you miss out on the national championship game and you had to end up in the Rose Bowl. or something like that. There was disappointment there. But I oftentimes think about college football in like my pure college football is probably what it was in the early 2000s. Right around the time when Nebraska, I mean, a good snapshot is when Nebraska last went to the national championship game.
Rose Bowl, people forget.
That was in the Rose Bowl. And there was I don't know if Nebraska was qualified technically that year, but I don't know that there was a second team that was qualified.
But
there was
Connor.
Multiple teams that were like in the running for that spot, and we had to have a debate about it and all that stuff. And then the other teams went to their direct locations based off of where their conferences were tied into, and it all sort of formulaically did itself. I'm feeling nostalgic today. I'm feeling nostalgic about those days of college football. Instead, we have a world that we currently live in where you can win the Fiesta Bowl and the Orange Bowl in the same year and not win the national championship. That seems crazy to me.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Penn State will have an opportunity to do that. You could win the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl and not win a national championship. It's odd. Mustache Adam tweets in his favorite bowl games: Orange, Fiesta, Rose, Sugar, Peach. Wow. I don't know a single person, and you know, maybe if you would have got a poll on this before Nebraska entered the Big Ten, they would have had a different opinion on the Rose, or like they had some sort of resentment toward the Rose Bowl. I have always enjoyed the Rose Bowl. I take it out to watch it every year, right? Like I'm taking out the time to watch it every single year, cutting out the time on my New Year's Day. And I think it should be like that every year, regardless of if the conference of the team that I root for is tied to the bowl game or not. Like I loved it. I loved it last night. Now the game didn't show up, but wow, Rose Bowl third. Surprising. To the phones, the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Here's Douglas. Hi, Douglas.
Hey guys, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hey, again, I'm hoping Notre Dame wins tonight. I got a little parlay on that. So
okay, nice.
Go. Hey, I think so there was an article in Sports Business Journal just released that said like average attendance at these bowl games that are like around 25,000. That's attendance, right? So my position is bowl games are stupid. And I think I've shared this with you before, but I mean, I'm not saying like teams shouldn't play another game. In fact, I would say any team that wants to schedule another game, regardless of record, and if a network wants to pick it up, which is the key metric, should be able to. Like, why not? And if they want to play at home, and some other team agrees, like, hey, Kansas State, you want to come up and play in Lincoln, or Lincoln, you want to go down, Nebraska, you want to go down and play in the Little Apple? Awesome. I think you'd have better attendance. You'd have more impact on the local economy rather than, some, tourist destination, because it costs a lot of money. It's not like it used to be. Everyone knows it doesn't matter. Let everyone play a bowl game, play it wherever you want. Let the athletic directors sort it out. That's my opinion.
All right, Douglas. Thank you for sharing your opinion. I have an opinion. That's Douglas. I'm out on that opinion.
I am as well.
I'm not like a huge, like, we have to protect the bowl games guy, but
you're not Jack Mitchell.
I just don't like that. The bowl games are a fundamental part of the sport, right? So we're just wiping them away in favor of random exhibition games on college campuses that we are like. The bowl games are different and they're fun and they're unique. And we had a great set of bowl games this year.
They all rate well on TV.
And I know
they're up like year over year.
People look at it really cynically and they're like, oh, well, it's all just corporate sponsors and tourist destinations and stuff like that. Yeah, I choose to, it is. I choose to view it through a different lens. And I'm like, wow, this is another opportunity to play a football game against a team that you don't usually get to play. They're not in your region usually. And they're not in your conference unless you're BYU in Colorado. You played in a unique location and it's a memorable thing for the fan base, We remember all the bowl games that Nebraska's been in. Yeah. You guys are Nebraska fans. You could name them off year by year. They're fun and they're memorable, and I think they're a pretty fundamental part of the sport.
Congrats on busting your butt all year. Here's a trip to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do another antiquated money grab for the university.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's dumb. I disagree with that opinion. Disagree.
I would as well.
All right. Do we have any more thoughts on bowl games before we put them all to rest? Before we put the bowl game, like, oh, bowl games, are they good or are they bad thing to just officially to bed? Are we done?
Bowl game's good.
Bowl game's good.
I rest my case.
Well, we'll see what the jury thinks about that one. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Hey, congratulations to Beatrice native Cam Jurgens.
Wait a minute.
Beatrice, right?
According to
all I know is
Buck.
Joe Buck. Cam Jurgens is a Pro Bowler now, whatever that means. What does the Pro Bowl mean? You get to go. Now, what are they doing for the Pro Bowl this year? Have they decided that?
I believe they are Pro Bowl games again.
Like a football game?
No. Like mini games.
Okay. So there's no football game. And we stopped with flag football?
Right.
We're not doing that anymore either.
There's an obstacle course. There's a quarterback challenge.
Oh my. So
former Reaver and friend of the show, Andrew Van Ginkel, Pro Bowler.
I can't wait to see what Cam Jurgens is doing in the
Pro Bowl games.
I
believe, now this might have been 2 years ago, they had the offensive linemen do like an egg toss back and forth to each other.
All right. Okay. Sunday Pro Bowl games championship. The Pro Bowl presented by Verizon culminates on Sunday with more skills and an epic flag football game.
Okay. They do still do the flag football game. That's good.
Hosted at Camping World Stadium.
Orlando. Also, whatever it is, you can hear it right here on 1620 The Zone.
Really?
Yeah.
Would this be the first time that 1620 The Zone ever broadcasted a flag football game?
No, because we've broadcast
the
the Pro Bowl before.
We broadcast the Pro Bowl?
We are contractually obligated to if we would like to carry the Super Bowl.
What a deal. What a deal. That's good. It's good inside baseball. Crockpot Clint writes in, the Pro Bowl is now Nick Guts. Basically, the aggro crag. That was that, right? Or no, that was that was that. Okay, Josh has got me on that one. All right. Anyway, we haven't talked much about Nebraska football and what they've done in the portal over the last couple weeks. So we figured we'd catch up. They got Mr. Gilmore last night out of the transfer portal. Wide receiver from Kentucky, missed several games last year and then ended up being a contributor for Kentucky at the end of the year. He comes in his sophomore season. Of course, they got Dane Key, Isaiah Hunter, and a couple guys in the defensive line. You got a backup quarterback. So let's just they've got 12. Hardly Gilmore. He's Hardly Gilmore. Andrew Marshall, defensive back. Nice pickup. Dane Key, nice pickup. Dason McCullough, nice pickup. Probably a starter on defense. Justin Rhett, he's a corn dog.
Oh, okay.
The corn dogs are back. Marcos Davila, backup quarterback. He will be their backup quarterback. Isaiah Hunter.
Oh, we were wondering who was going to. Okay.
Yeah, they got a guy out of the transfer portal. Did you not know this?
No.
They got a backup quarterback out of the transfer portal. He transferred from Purdue.
A lot of people want to get the heck out of there, yeah.
Many do. And then they got a long snapper. They got a punter.
Important.
They got a couple defensive linemen. And then also, on top of that, on the defensive line, they got Williams Nwaneri, who we have mentioned several times on the show. So a pretty good haul so far for Nebraska, is still needing offensive linemen. And I know what people are waiting for in Nebraska today. They're like, oh, well, we don't really care about anything else in the transfer portal until they get rid of Ed Foley. That's all I can hear people saying.
Yes.
Today. Yes. I find myself in a much, much better place in terms of where the roster stands today than the last time we talked before Christmas. I think they did a pretty good job. Like, the thing that I was worried about is how many like starter caliber players are you going to get? And the answer to that is, I think Marshall is a start defensive, corner Marshall, Andrew Marshall from Idaho. He's a starter. I think Dane Key is a starter. I think Dason McCullough is a starter. I think Isaiah Hunter is a starter. And that is where I'd leave it for now. I think Nwaneri will play for you, and at the best case scenario for him, he's a star. You got a punter, good. You got a long snapper, good. You got depth along the defensive line. You got a backup quarterback, and then you got some more depth at wide receiver with Mr. Gilmore. Mr. Gilmore. I like what they've done. Maybe I freaked out too much on the roster before Christmas break.
Oh, really?
I don't know, but I felt like, all right, how are they going to go out and find like all the NIL money or whatever for all the starter caliber players that they need? And maybe they found that. I don't know. But I do they've rebuilt the wide receiver room like almost completely now. Look at the players that they've now lost. When you include Jalen Lloyd, who went into the portal this week after the Pinstripe Bowl, you already lost Malachi Coleman. You lost 2 guys from Bellevue West, in Isaiah McMorris and Davon Hall. And so you took a bunch of young guys that haven't really done anything in that room. Lloyd is a little bit separated from the other 3 that I mentioned, and added, and then you lost Banks and Nair, and then you added your Banks and Nair of next year. And then Hunter is going to be around for a little while, and Gilmore is going to be around for a little while as well. You're adding in Cortez Mills. You obviously feel really good about Ja'Cory Barney coming back, and Isaiah Mosey as well. Like they've kind of reshaped the wide receiver room, and there's no coincidence in why. They got a new wide receiver coach, and
the shorts man.
They got a new offensive coordinator who certainly has and had opinions about the way it was going to look in that room.
The very worldly Dana Holgers.
Oh, yeah, indeed. To the phones, 42 Degrees of Source Hotline. Here's old man Doug. Doug, hello. Happy New Year.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year to you. There's a lot of Dougs calling in that aren't me.
I know. We got Dougs, we got Douglases, we got them all across the board.
So I've got an opinion.
Okay.
A call in the first quarter should be the same call in the fourth quarter on the targeting. And I think Big Ten refs are the worst. And of course, that was a Big Ten officiating crew. And the other opinion I have on the bowl games is I like the bowl games, but I think that these players that are getting NIL money or collective money or whatever, they should have to give back a prorated piece of their money if they don't play in all the possible games that the team can play. And I just think it's disingenuous. I get it. They're going pro. They get hurt. They insured the 2 players from Colorado, maybe 3. I don't see why they can't do that. And it's not fair to your team or your teammates or your fans because you've taken up room on that roster developing the whole year, and then for the team that gave you that opportunity that paid you, and then you're like, nope, I'm good. I'm not going to play. And what about the rest of your teammates that want to win the game and are grinding? I just hate that.
Yeah, I do too. But yeah, Doug, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Like, unfortunately, you're not going to put anything like you can't put anything in the rule book just because your teammates would, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's not really why they make rules. Maybe they should, but I don't think anybody disagrees with what Doug said, right? Like, I don't know how they're going to be able to work it into NIL contracts to actually make this a thing, or there's no way they're going to be able to get it through any sort of like public clearinghouse or anything like NIL is going to work exactly the same as it is right now when they do rev sharing this coming.
Yes.
It's going to work exactly the same. These are going to be weirdo, under the table, pay for play. Here's some extra money, sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle on top. And then guys are going to continue to sit out bowl games.
Yeah. Because if I blow my knee out in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl tonight, I ain't missing my rookie year in the NFL.
No fan of whatever team that you root for likes it when your favorite player sits out the bowl game because he wants to go play in the NFL and he can't risk it for a game. And yeah, I think there's a little bit too much of like agents and stuff like that in players' heads. And yeah, I think there generally should be more of like a love. You got to do it for the love of the game and all that type of thing. But it's just, I don't know. I really hate to say it's just kind of where we're at right now, but it's kind of just where we're at right now. And that
absolutely,
but it's also not just right now either. Like guys have opted out of things before.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly happening more and more.
Is like, I think you've actually probably just anecdotally, I feel like it's happened less this bowl season. High profile opt outs.
Maybe it's happening and it's not being talked about as much because we're used to it.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I'd put that out there as a possibility.
I read somewhere Michigan had more opt-outs than Alabama.
Interesting.
Obviously it depends on what position opts out. So it's not, 8-7, Michigan had more opt-outs.
Right. All right. Let's take a break here. We'll come back and get to the polls. We'll tell you what to watch on the other side. Coming up on 1620 The Zone. All right, we're a little more than an hour away from the Sugar Bowl.
We sure are.
The Sugar Bowl is going to get over this evening at about 6:30, and you're going to be like, well, time to go to bed. But it'll be 6:30, and you'll have like 2, 3, 4 more hours to just sit around, hang out, do whatever it is you do.
It's not the end of football, though. We'll get into that on what to watch.
Okay. All right. Good preview. Let's go to the polls first. At Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. This one brought to you by Matt McMaster.
Hi, Matt.
Is the bean the biggest scam in the American tourism industry? I continue to fail to see how it's a scam if it's free.
Okay, that's a good point.
You don't have to go to the bean.
There's probably a bigger tourism attraction in this country that actually costs money.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't think of it off the top of my head. I don't know. I also haven't been to many places with things people want to see.
Like, scam is just the wrong. Is it a trap? Is it a trap?
Tourist trap?
It's a trap.
Okay.
It's not the biggest, but it's a trap. I don't know if it's a scam, though. I'm voting no. 65% say yes.
I think you might have just turned me.
Does Connor Happer look like a guy who enjoys Will Forte?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. 80% say yes. Is hitting 107 miles per hour in a Nissan Sentra some kind of record?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
79% say yes. And finally, is Wednesday the opposite of Saturday? This kind of feels like is 39-40.
A little bit.
Brown
yeah.
is orange. Is Wednesday the opposite of Saturday?
I'm going to go yeah. Yeah.
It's probably more like Tuesday. But
you're far away.
I think yeah, I'm going to go yes on this one. 61% say yes. Okay. Wednesday is the opposite of Saturday. Those are the polls. You can find them at Happer Show. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching college football. It begins in just over an hour on ESPN. I want to get the full name right here because people paid a lot of money for this. The College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the All-State Sugar Bowl is between Georgia and Notre Dame.
Presented by Discover.
Notre Dame, 1.5-point favorite. Somebody on this station says Notre Dame won't score a single point.
Yeah, that person. So we got another email here from Matt.
Hi, Matt.
He offers the Carney Arch as a bigger scam than the Bean.
Okay, that's in the conversation for sure.
Do you have to pay? I can't remember. Do you have to pay to go into the museum at the Archway?
I don't remember.
I feel like no. Yeah. I feel like no.
Okay, so again, it's free.
Free, I guess free. Maybe that proves the point though that scams can be free.
Yeah. Waste of time.
Yeah. All right.
After the Sugar Bowl, if you're still jonesing for a football fix, ESPN has one for you in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Duke versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss a 17.5-point favorite tonight. That's a big number.
It is.
Big Ten basketball on your TV. Northwestern at Penn State, 6 o'clock on Peacock. Number 20 Purdue at Minnesota, 7 p.m. FS1. Rutgers, Indiana, 7:30 on Peacock. Mm-hmm. Maryland, Washington, 8:30 on BTN. Any of those do anything for you, Connor?
Did you mention Illinois and Oregon?
That was the trap. You were going to say, no, all those games suck. And then I was going to say, number 22, Illinois at number 9, Oregon, 9 o'clock on FS1.
That is your number one game of the day, according to the Ken Pom fan match thing.
Oh, wow. Your little Ken Pom thing.
Yep.
Got a red. What do they call the shootout now? Red River. We got Red River in women's basketball tonight.
Red River rivalry.
Yeah. Number 5, Texas at number 9, Oklahoma, 8 o'clock on ESPN2. NBA doubleheader on TNT. Celtics, Wolves at 6:30, followed by Sixers, Warriors. Hockey on Hulu. The Islanders host the Maple Leafs at 6:30. And Connor, tonight on ABC at 7 o'clock after the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the All-State Sugar Bowl presented by Discover. It is the reboot premiere of Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
I thought you were going to say there was a country music award show.
No, too early in the year for that. Families share heartwarming stories before receiving mind-blowing builds. The home edits, Clay Shearer and Joanna Teplin host. I don't know who either of those two humans are.
I thought it was Joanna, different last name.
Joanna Gaines?
Yeah, what's she do?
No, she's got her own network.
Oh.
She's got her own network.
I don't know nothing about that world.
Not Chad Pennington. Ty Pennington was the former host of
I remember that guy.
Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
He was like the first to do it. He was the OG.
Yeah.
By the way, getting some correspondences that it does indeed cost money to go to the Carney Arch.
Oh, then that's a tourism trap. Yeah. Don't give them your money.
There is that little window to look out over I-80 though,
That's right.
and it's kind of cool. It's almost worth the price of admission.
Absolutely not. There are many free bridges along I-680 you can just look at.
No. It's nice and wide out there. You can look west, you can look east, then you could go get back in your car and pick which way you want to go.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's what we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.